Someone lead us, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Calling to order. Committee roll call. I am Mike Barnes.
Deb Doherty,
Robert Simpson.
Diana Klein,
Joe Ledner. Okay. Linda doesn't have a name yet? You got one last time.
they don't have a partner in my hands, so back to my office. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Solid hours.
All right, the first thing, call to order here, the first thing here is public comment. I make a motion to open public comment. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Okay. All right, all, you did all in favor, right?
You did.
All right. If you, Lynn, do you have sheets?
Stand up for no one signed up for anything. There are
Legislation.
people here to sign up for the individual public hearings. The regular public comment.
Okay, does anybody wish to speak?
And there'll be, for the individual public hearings, if anybody's here to speak for those, you'll have a chance to speak for that. That when that hearing comes, then you can speak for that, but this is just for anybody who has anything in general.
Does your dog want to speak? Yeah.
I moved to be the dog is a town mascot.
All right, so no one here wants to say a word? I guess already. All right, I make a motion to close public comment number one. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, first of all, there are 3 minutes that we are looking to approve. The first two are the December meeting, which one approved last time, and then this meeting here, I'm sorry, October 11th. Also, have you all read the minutes?
Yes, I have.
All right, anybody want to make amends to the meeting?
Yes. December 10th.
Wait,
December 10th. Underneath discussion topic resolution, there's tax reduction for firefighters, and it says unanimously support. For the board, you need to make a note that I was recused for that. Because I am a firefighter. Because I am a firefighter. That was in December.
It's up on the screen, December 10th. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to have you.
And then,
It's open.
Okay. Thank you. Well.
oh, new business.
Same meeting,
This is,
I think it's the same meeting.
December 10th.
December 10th. Yep.
No, that'd be a different meeting.
Okay.
February 11th.
Okay, I can bring that up.
Page 3.
1, 2, there you go.
Something to page 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are new business.
That's
The
third time.
very last sentence, right before old business, the very last sentence.
Let's
Query
wait
the weather. That was appropriate.
Oh, weather.
Whether the sun thought it was appropriate.
The weather was appropriate.
Underneath the old business, the second paragraph, like there's a big blue question mark.
Right, I have that answer.
Okay, you have that?
Yes,
Okay.
announced that the grant, in the amount of $375,000, blah, 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 was received from the administrator Rockefeller Philanthropies Advisors.
And then, resolution 27. I think something got cut off in the title. It says chapter 64, the town of,
Yes, so that was the time. 29,
This is about the 500.
so
Probably a code issue.
first title.
Have you got a code for that?
and is that,
Let's see how.
That's the firefighters.
That's the local law number one.
is that how it goes? It gets my vote as abstained or recused? How does my vote? 'Cause I didn't vote at all. I didn't abstain. I wasn't in the room.
Recused, I wrote recused.
Right, under votes, it says abstention.
Which I didn't abstain. I wasn't there at all.
So I
Should be
should,
recused,
so
should be-
that's
Yeah,
not.
one recusal.
I was like, that would actually be my vote that I would say.
That you abstained. Okay, so we can say that.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, I wrote at the top. that you
Yes,
recused.
yes, exactly.
Very good.
Okay, that's it. That's what I found.
All right, now let me ask a question. We're gonna make amendments on these resolutions?
Yes.
All right, can we vote on it with the amended?
Well, I wasn't that, I was not,
The last one.
I was not.
You want to vote on the December ones first?
Just want to about the, all three of them, you're allowed to vote on minutes about the index.
Yeah. You don't have to.
No, you don't have to. You don't have
It's up
to.
to you. You can abstain.
So if you do that, please do that.
Okay. All right, let's go for the first of December 10th. All right, make a motion to accept the minutes from December 10th, 2024,
As amended.
as amended.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, December 30th, I think it was, the other one? All right, make a motion to accept the minutes of December 30th.
I second. Joe did. Joe seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes for February 11th, as amended. Make a motion to accept the minutes for February 11th, as amended.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So all three, one abstention, one abstention. All right, so therefore, all 3 minutes have been approved. Jeremy, will you, if there's any drafts on it?
Well, then we'll have to get new copies because she's gonna, she's gotta make a couple tweaks. So when I get those, we'll just repost them.
Okay. Town clerk's report?
Town clerk's report was submitted last, at the February 11th meeting.
This should be at the end of the month, should be end of the month.
Well, you accepted it. That was January's report.
So it's too soon for February.
Okay. Supervisor's report, will you pull up that,
Yeah, sadly, it's on its side, Michael. These are not flippable because I don't have an edit, but go ahead.
I was gonna read it.
Well, you can read it out of your packet.
It's in the packet.
Yes.
Okay, what we have here, this is just this is not a full financial audit. We are still, because we reconciled the 2023 budget, and it took a while to do that, and by finishing the 2023 budget reconciliation, we then have a starting point for 2024, so we reconcile that. So we're getting close. This is basically this is all the revenue that has come in January. All right, and next to it is the budget that was allocated. So the first thing here is the revenue that's come in. Okay, and then the second column is the gross profit. It says gross profit, but I believe that is basically all the expenditures that was done in that month.
Gross profit.
That's still part of your revenue base. Your expenditures are the next column down and then in the back, which will decipher what you spent in January, 1 to 30.
This is.
Where it starts expenses.
Expense, right. So, I mean, the gross profit, that talks about basically how much was received. So the expense, and this is all the expenses for the month. Okay,
This is where we allocate out the The tax collected to the special districts, right?
Yes, this is what's said there also.
That's why that amount's so high.
Mhm. Well, it's hard because yes, yes. We gave out $1 million and I believe, let's see, not saying
The
five,
lighting, the
with the fire districts, it was the library, it was the lighting district.
Yeah, and then, of course, the EMS special
And the-
district.
Right. Okay, so I'm not asking you to approve this thing, because this is just a draft like that. Hopefully by the March 11th meeting, we'll have a complete, once the RBQ gets us done. But we are getting there, getting the finances done there. Again, basically, it's just a backlog because we had to do 2023 and then through 2024, so we're getting there close. And every time, like, when Wendy said, submits this to RBT, they say that, don't forget this, don't forget that. don't
We
forget
also switched systems. So we went from Williamson to QuickBooks. Now everything is on QuickBooks. We just have to catch up. I can't guarantee it'll be March 11th, but we're trying very hard.
Thank you, Wendy.
You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you. This is great.
In the meantime,
Much
you'll
better.
receive
Much better.
overviews by the month until we do get those. So at least you can see, when you make a decision based on a resolution, what funds are available based on what has been expended.
Great.
Perfect.
Once we have final numbers.
We'll have that at the,
Month until you get the actual financials.
Yes, but we're not gonna get them on this voucher, so.
so you're not like, you're gonna send it back here, will it be?
That was an issue, I think, or a question that we've been talking about for a while.
You wanted basically the budget,
So you can use this currently for your vouchers. If you'd like, you'll have.
Well,
to
they're
do-
not broken out, these are,
This is just from January 31.
yeah, but they're not individual vouchers, but what I'm saying is that,
Well, you want to see the vouchers.
Yeah.
He wants that, when
So
they're doing
that
it, he
is,
wants to know the
we do have
balances,
that.
right? That's-
Actually, no,
Yeah.
we do have that.
you have it.
Michael has that.
I have that.
so why is it not on the voucher?
He wants.
No, what he wants on the vouchers.
He wants the balance of what's in that account.
Yeah,
Right,
we've been talking about this for almost a year now, that we wanted to make sure that the vouchers had the balance on them with the assigned account. That's what we've been talking about, and I know Amy has been working towards that, so I'm just asking the question, when is that gonna actually start?
That way we know the money is there, it's not the voucher.
And I think that, so we know what the expenditure is in each.
what they want,
for each
they want
voucher.
the
So you
balance.
want that literally on the voucher.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to talk about
That's gonna be,
it. That's
Yeah.
tough because I do vouchers, so say, I do vouchers they come in daily, so I try to do them like every week to keep up. So unfortunately, that would almost have to be something I would have to do right before the meeting, if that makes sense. Because say a Central Hudson bill came in, I can tell you what the balance is at that time, but then there's gonna be another Central Hudson bill, another Central Hudson bill. So it's almost impossible without doing a lot of manual reconciliation to be able to give you that number.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, if we want to sit down and talk about it,
So then,
I understand your perspective and I think that would be great. But we really need to sit down and take a look at it.
the only,
if you look at this thing here, what's up there, it says, it has basically, as of January 25th, it has basically, what we spent.
Yeah.
And that's the total budget of it.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a column over here next saying, what's the balance?
okay, so you obviously realize what I would have to
Yes.
do, I'd have to go and look at the voucher and then look at this every single time. So it's the same issue that she's dealing with.
Exactly. So
Right,
we're gonna have
so
to find a way to meet.
the only other issue is that until that voucher's signed, you put a total on there, and then we go and say, let's say, for example, she's referring to. Really, the allocation has not changed because that same budget line, that same budget number would be on every voucher then, until those vouchers get processed, would that change? So I would have the same number at the top,
So we should get this every week then,
Yes.
at least every, well, you can ask for.
or every month.
Yes, every month.
Definitely every month.
Every meeting.
Yeah, we can get that twice a month, every meeting, a balance sheet like this.
Because your balance at the top of your voucher is not a true balance because you haven't put that voucher through. So that, it's not a true balance.
All the
Like, you look on
vouchers,
your-
all the vouchers that have been paid. Like,
That's a
there's a
good
whole
story.
bunch of there's a whole bunch of vouchers that I just signed off on that are paid. Right? So the balances on those can be whatever you've done that has been paid, at least we should have that.
If you want it on the
I can say
voucher.
75% of the vouchers you can do that with. Certain vouchers are gonna be difficult to do because you have multiple, for example, again,
Central Hudson, we have 11 accounts.
Central Hudson is probably the least of our concern right now because we know we have to pay those. bills. That's not what we're talking about. I think the whole problem with the finances stems from inability to account for the expenditures, budgeted and actuals on each one of these vouchers.
I don't foresee carrying it over to the next month based on the voucher. Should be that difficult.
No.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
work on it, yeah. So
I
that's
see what you're saying now.
Right?
I agree
Well, you
with
want to
that.
make sure that that this balance left over. and you
Yeah,
can see-
because this is the problem this is why we're running into all this problem with the accounts, because we didn't know what was present, what was in the budget, and what was actually spent. This is the very reason.
What you want basically for each voucher reconciliation.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay.
Right, but
I think that
the
can-
problem with the accounts is because they didn't keep track of anything with that. I
It
know
doesn't
what you're- I know
matter,
what
it
you're
doesn't
saying.
matter.
Well,
This
this is what
our
we're doing.
system has not had that kind of.
Right, it's
level of
never had, right,
accountability.
it's never had it, but people did know what they were spending and what was left over, you know, what
It's
they
an
had left.
assumption that we're making. We don't know.
What we do know is we have to file the yearly report, so we do know. But this would be better, you know, and she's going to the 3-digit.
Yeah, at least if we have, for those things that are paid, we can get the balance on the voucher, that would be fine.
Yeah, John and I will work on something.
Great, thanks.
Okay. All right, you have the building department?
I do. We'll just let us see here.
Okay, this is in our packet, sir?
I think this, we should put it in there or no? I don't think she did, so it's on the screen.
It's over here. I have it here if you need it.
It's not in there.
Well, anyway, I'll just read it off there. The monthly report for January of 2025, the total revenue brought in was $6,470.17, and that's also the revenue.
This is for the building department?
This is the building department, yes. And mind you, that this month, January is a very, very slow month.
Okay, because I thought we had a lot of money last time. Was that December?
That was December. Okay, and then we have also the
Assessor.
assessors month. I think that's around, what Samara wanted to do basically is, save paper.
Right, okay.
So that's the assessors, and in front of that is the building department.
But for the 4 copies, I would say that's not.
It was 60 pages.
Sorry.
And then 600.
Some of us do like paper.
There's the assessor report.
I think if you request it, we'll make sure you do it.
Okay. All right, I guess we're done with all the reports. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is, like, I have a question to ask you. Do you have a presentation from Delaware Engineering and the long ways at home? Should we do it first, or should we do the public hearing?
No, let it suffer. Let it suffer. No. Yeah, I think I agree with, yeah,
All right, so I make a motion to allow John Brush to
do
do.
you want us to sign off on all these reports first?
You mean the, all right, okay.
Would you?
Sure. Sure, of course. Make a motion to accept all the supervisor's report, the town clerk's report, the building department, and the assessor's report. Second, do I have a discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Good. This is a record.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so make a motion to allow John Brush from Delaware.
Now going. Don't jinx it, China.
Exactly. I'm up 2 hours early.
All right, second.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
All right, so tonight, we hope to go through the seeker process and complete the state environmental quality review process for the new highway garage. Just to bring folks up to speed, back in November, the board classified the project. This is the construction of the new highway garage as a type 1 action. And the board declared itself as lead agency. Notices to those two findings were sent to all involved and interested parties. Those are state agencies and other relevant agencies in December. We received no substantive comments as a result of those notices. Tonight, the board has the opportunity to examine the relevant seeker issues and then conclude seeker by determining the project will have no significant adverse impact. No significant adverse impact. We did receive a note from the Town of Hurley Conservation Advisory Committee. This is from Christian Shara. And Christian gives us 5 comments. And I will certainly agree with all 5. They don't affect, the comments do not affect any of our findings, but they add to the record, and that's always good to add to a record. So after tonight's meeting, we will add to the record as Kristen indicates would be a good idea. For instance, she says, the narrative states that a wetland delineation has been completed. Documentation of the wetland delineation should be attached as an addendum. You should include the methodology used and who performed the analysis. That was done by one of my staff, who is a certified wetland delineator, and will include a note to that effect. Kristen also goes on to say that the bald eagle is an endangered or threatened species, should be noted in the narrative. The narrative refers to a habitat assessment conducted for the town. A link to this assessment should be provided, or the assessment should be attached as an addendum. That was not done by us. It was done by Jim Bates of Ecological Associates years ago, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. I sent him a text a few minutes ago, but I didn't hear back from him. Kristen goes on to say, who is the town's wildlife scientist quoted in the narrative? It would have been that same person, Jim Bates. That's, if we said it's the town's wildlife specialist, we were incorrect. That was a consultant the town had hired for that purpose. And then it further states the assessment should note that the project site impinges on a core habitat block as documented in the Ulster County Natural Resources Inventory. Again, good comment. We'll include that to just make the documentation that we have in the file as complete as possible. So with that said, what we can do is we can go through the seeker process. And I haven't gone through this process with the board yet. So you'll have to tell me how much in the weeds you want to get. For instance, the first document that we would talk about that you should have in front of you is entitled Full Environmental Assessment Form, Part 2, Identification of Potential Project Impacts. Within these pages, there's 18 different topics that are covered. Now we've checked every one of these items as either no impact or small impact may occur. If you would like to go through them one by one, we can certainly do that. People will fall over.
I think that we should go through the sections for sure.
Okay, all right. So there's 18 sections.
I don't know if we have to go through every single question, but.
Yep, that's fine. So the first section has to do with impact on land. What we've said is that there is either no impact or small impact may occur. Some of the topics within that, for instance, are the proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet. We've said no, or a small impact may occur. I believe the depth, where's Mike? Mike, what's the depth to water out there? Do you know? The depth to groundwater?
I read 6 feet.
Yeah, that's
50 feet, 60 feet.
Yeah, there's just to the north of where we're going to be, I'm sorry, just to the west of where we're going to be building the site. So it's the western side of the woods there. There's a deep ravine. That ravine goes down about 20 feet. One would think the groundwater table is fairly deep, there. So for that reason, we've said no, or small impact may occur. The, next one, impact on geological features.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So you say no or small impact. How do I know which of these you consider have a small impact?
The purpose of seeker is to determine whether there's a significant adverse impact. So it's, to a certain extent, doesn't really matter whether it's a small impact or no impact.
Well, like what?
The issue is that it's not significant.
You know, using herbicides, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I even think a small amount is significant personally.
We won't be using any in the construction of the DPW facility.
Right, but I guess my point is though that some of these, you know, just says no or small impact. I
Yep.
don't know what that means, right?
Well, we're saying that it's not going to be significant. If we said no,
Like, I mean,
That
I
means
consider
no.
one bald eagle to get killed would be significant in my eyes.
Sure.
right?
but in the construction of a DPW garage, we don't anticipate using
Right,
any at
I'm just
all.
using that as an example.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, so
Yep.
with that, that is the context though. We don't anticipate any significant adverse impact. When you construct and you dig in the earth and you do in a road, you're having an impact on the land. Is it significant within the context of the town of Hurley? I don't think so. I think I saw 15 building permits there.
Yeah.
And every single building permit's gonna put in a road and, may put in a road and things like that. You have determined that those 15 are not significant. It's contextual.
Well, I mean, one of the bigger problems is that, the garage itself is going to generate environmental consequence. So this is,
It will, but in our opinion, there'll be no significant adverse impact. It keeps on coming back to that, Greg.
so let me just ask you, just for clarification's sake, when you say it's insignificant or no significance, that's based on what, regulatory framework?
That is our analysis, just us, our analysis of the situation. If
Is that,
if you think something different, then you speak up.
no, is that,
If
is your analysis toggled to what the state's regulations are?
sure.
So maybe the issue is that when you have something like no or very low or whatever, we just need to have that toggled to
Well, there's a narrative attached to this,
Yeah. I
and
read
in
that.
the narrative, we go through each,
They do.
there's a very extensive narrative that,
that's the first one, that's this one.
This is the narrative, yeah. So they go through each section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, okay, I'm good.
okay.
Thanks.
The next of the 18 subjects, the next one is impact on geological factors. And the question is, the proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of, or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site, such as cliffs, dunes, minerals, fossils, caves. The answer to that is no. Number 3, impacts on surface water. The proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies. The answer is yes, may affect. Okay.
How close is this to the wetlands? I know you were concerned about that last time, so I wanted to ask that question.
It is, there are some on the site, on the, I'm trying to think of the right context to put it in. I'd like to say, there are none within the areas that we're going to construct on. There are none, where we're building the road or where we're putting up the building or where we're doing the parking lot. The areas that we're constructing, there are no wetlands.
There are wetlands behind.
But there are wetlands behind, and there are wetlands in that ravine that's just to the west of the wooded area. So when we do one of these projects, we are obligated to make sure that we don't adversely impact those wetlands. So we'll have stormwater controls, and the purpose of the stormwater controls is to ensure that stormwater leaving that property as it exists today, is no different than after we put the building up, the parking lot up, and the roadway up. We have to control stormwater quality and quantity, and that's part of the process. So again, with respect to impacts on surface water, because we need to address stormwater issues, we have either no or small impacts.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
So under that, you, in your report, in the first part, and not just the narrative, you said that not expected to involve use of pesticides in or around our wetland. Would you be able to or willing to, if you were going to use pesticides, what would you use? In other words, it would be good for the town to have a sense, just in case.
Yeah.
That if you were going to use pesticide, what pesticides you probably be looking at.
I can't anticipate, I can't, that's probably gonna be something that you're gonna get from Mike. As he does his operations, what pesticides or herbicides does he use to control vegetation? And it's a bigger issue than this project. It probably is an issue that's relative to your roadways, if you even use any.
We don't use any pesticide.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, so I wouldn't make a recommendation on which to use or how much to use. There's licensed people to do that.
Yeah, the thing is, on Mike, he's gonna be, plowing that road that goes up there. You're gonna be plowing the road that goes up to the garage, right? During snowstorms and so forth.
It has to.
Right, you have to, and then for you be sprinkling also salt. That's not pesticide.
That's not-
I know it's not pesticide.
That's why I asked for that card system, so I could hear half the things that you're saying. Microphones.
No, my thing is though, my question is to you, that when you go and plow the road that goes to the garage, through there, you're gonna be using salt and sand also. My concern is the effect of that salt on the wetlands there. The thing is though, because the thing is though, like when the county plows around the reservoir, they limit the amount of salt on the road, don't they?
I don't know that to be fact, because they seem like they sold pretty heavy on 28 days.
Yeah, I know the fact, when I used to live in town of Holland, the Ware, they were very,
Well, the flying where
they were concerned.
the bridges, but
Some towns will
maybe the town
instruct,
needs to pass a chain law, fire chain law, and we don't have to use any.
some towns will instruct their DPW, department not to use salt on some roadways. You can certainly elect to do that.
So I think my concern here, and I think this is what David's concern is that not salt. I'm not so concerned with salt. I'm concerned with pesticides. And the reason why I'm concerned with pesticides is because of what we have to deal with DEC. We have all kinds of other issues dealing with them, and we don't want to add another one to this just in case.
And I don't anticipate you needing to use any, and
We don't use any pesticides. We never have, and you have, if you're gonna use pesticides, you have to have somebody on staff that's certified.
they have to be licensed.
So there is no pesticide use in roads. We don't spray roads. We don't spray anything. Zero, zilch. At one point in time, I was gonna try the Dawn detergent with, a little bit of salt and that. They say that's a natural one, but even that, we're not.
Yeah.
One way to control that, you were talking about vouchers, you're gonna have to purchase that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get notice that
So-
you used it.
So that's the question here is, around, so based on your narrative, the project is not expected,
Mhm.
which implies it could possibly.
Sure.
So why not just say the project will not?
Well, because we're not here 5 years from now when your DPW department determines that they
During the
need to
duration
control
of
weeds.
construction or something.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about during this project.
Yeah, so why don't you qualify it very clearly? I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to make sure that we have a we have some protection because of some of the other things that we're dealing with. What?
As a legislative body of the town, I think that's on the town board to sit there and adopted resolution or local law saying that you have no pesticide.
We're talking about for the project, we're talking about for this
This is
project.
a project and a document presented with information.
Pesticides at all.
Well, right, but
So say that.
that's.
We can certainly do that. And we can also say in our construction documents that no contractor on the site can use that. And that'll be in the
There's no
future.
reason to use it.
Sure.
Yeah,
But we can still say it too. That's
Yeah.
not no issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Our next section is impact on groundwater. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater, or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. So we check yes, because we're gonna have a well there. But we check no, or small impacts may occur for any of the examples that are proposed here on the seeker document. For the public's knowledge, we'll put in a well there. That well will probably, I don't know, 10 gallon a minute if we're lucky.
Usually the wells over in that area are pretty good because of the pressure, get feedback from the reservoir.
Yep. But we don't intend on using a lot of water as part of our operations. There could be some, sometimes the guys will use some for wash water. They'll clean the floor of the DPW facility, but it's not a big water use. So for that reason, we check no or small impact may occur. Well, the next one, impact on flooding. The proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. We say, no, it will not. Impacts on air. The proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. The answer to that is no. Impact on plants and animals. And by the way, when you say no, then we don't have to qualify it in terms of no or small or significant. So that's a no. Impact on plants and animals. The proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. Obviously, yes. We're constructing a road and we're putting up a building, but we've checked no or small impact may occur. It's probably in the eye of the beholder, but if we're going to build a DPW garage, we're going to have to take down some trees.
One thing I'd like to let the public know on the board is that, several years back, I don't know, about 20 years ago, I did a project with the third grade class on the property right next to this proposed property. And I cut trees anywhere from this big to this big. I cut wafers out of them. I took them to the third grade class and I had them all count rings to prove a point. That property, most of that property over there's owned like Thomas Cornell Steamboat Company back in the day. And they clear cut all that property when the reservoir was being built. They had numerous bluestone mines. They had small gauge railroads running through there. They used all the materials. And every one of those trees, whether it be that big or that big or that big, was 80 years old.
Yeah.
So that shows you that it was a clear cut forest.
Right, because they actually did the testing on trees, and the oldest trees in that whole area is 95 years of age. So it is clear cutting.
It's terrible geography for tree growth anyway, because of all the rock.
Yeah, there are no, what we refer to as witness trees that we would be taking down. Witness trees being very large trees that have been around for 150 years and all that kind of thing.
And the area in question, all the pine trees pretty much have died. They've been falling down in the basketball court.
Yep.
From the blade, so it's it's not much of an impact.
Adjacent to an existing logging.
Did you?
No, I mean, obviously, if there's a bald eagle nest in the tree, you're not taking it down.
For a whole lot of reasons.
Yes.
But yes. Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources. The answer is no.
There's no tree high enough there for bald eagle nest.
Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. We check no. I'm sorry, we check yes. But because we're next to a park and we're part of a park. So it's a yes, eye of the beholder. But the impacts are are either no or small.
How's the recreation department feel about that?
You get some new courts.
No, and for this particular item, and for some of the other ones here, the board has elected to substitute a similar amount of acreage owned by the town into the park. So while we're taking out 6 acres of a total of 8, we're taking 6 out of the park. We're bringing 8 acres into the park. So that's an important consideration. And that acres, the 8 acres you're bringing in will be forever protected. So we've got one could say, a no net loss if one wanted to. Could argue the point. Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. And we've checked no, and we have inquired, and there is no known archaeological source that we would be impacting in any kind of significant way. Impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or a reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. So we check yes, because we're part of a park. There is an argument to be made that we're not pulling land out of a park. It's not developed for a park. It's woodland. There is a trail going through it, and it is part of if you look on any map, it says town park. So the board is elected to be conservative and say, let's just call it a park. We don't want to argue about whether it is or not, or where the funding came from way back when to buy this property, and was the funding somehow had a string attached to it that said if the funding is going to a park, then you can't do this or can't do that. So the board is elected just to be very conservative, say it's a park, and then we're going to the Senate and the Assembly with a process called alienation, where we are taking the land out of the park, but we're substituting a similar amount of land into the park. And we have talked to both our senator and Assembly staff. They are going to bring up a bill. When we get that bill number, we'll come back to the board, get the board to pass a resolution with the specific bill number in it. That will go back to the Senate Assembly, and it will be passed because it is a home rule state. And if this board elects to do this, the Senate and the Assembly are going to go along with this board. So typically.
Yeah, I've spoken to both the offices of Hinchy and Stresa, and they have submitted the draft bill. I have to call you in and give you the draft bill number now.
Oh, well, if you have the bill number.
I don't have it yet.
Okay, when that comes, I'll be back to the board. Because the first resolution that the board did to alienate the land, we were told after the fact, that resolution is a great resolution, except it doesn't include the bill number.
Right.
So we're going to come back to the board and ask you to repass that with that bill number on it. So hopefully that happens. The sooner the better.
It said
we need to get this whole thing done by June. So both have indicated it shouldn't be a problem. Number 12, impact on critical environmental area. The proposed action.
Can I just ask about 11? So that trail that you mentioned?
Yep.
That's gonna get impacted.
There is a trail there.
That trail was built by the highway department when they trucked the material into the park.
Yep.
It was a piece of property that they had purchased behind the old landfill that had a lot of tailings. And when they purchased the park, I want to say that was done underneath Hal DiCaprio's administration in the 80s or the late 80s, maybe the mid 80s.
Yep.
And the town was utilizing a road right along Doug Hill to go through there through a little piece of state land.
Yep.
And the state said, oh, no. So then they built that road from the back storage area all the way down into the park.
Yeah, I should have used,
road.
rather than the word trail, which implies things like Appalachian Trail, I should have used a logging road or something like that.
It wasn't even that, it was just built.
Yeah. But it would look like an old logging road.
Well, done 50 years ago.
Yep.
40.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 12, impact on critical environmental areas. The proposed action may be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area. The answer is no. Number 13, impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. The answer is yes, because the DPW trucks will be going in there. We will build the road on the west side of the tennis courts. And the board has told us, as we're building that road, landscape that as much as possible, separate this DPW facility from the tennis or basketball court, the tennis as much as possible. The basketball courts might wind up disappearing for purposes of this project and then be constructed someplace else on the park. Remains to be seen. We have to look at stormwater. We may need that nice flat area as a stormwater retention area. We don't know yet until we do the stormwater engineering. So that was checked. Yes, it will impact, but the impacts will be no or small impact may occur. Impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. The answer is yes. This will be a warmer facility than the one that you had, and it will cost more energy. It will use more energy and will take into account as much green energy as we can and things of that
I was
sort.
gonna say,
Yep.
we're gonna use sustainable energy as
Much as we possibly can.
Solar, whatever, to
Recognizing that this is a critical facility and it has to be operational, et cetera, et cetera.
understood, but
Yep.
we can still,
We certainly can. And you will be involved in that process.
I want that in there. Yeah.
It's in there.
Okay.
Impact on noise, odor, and light. The proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. The answer is yes. We will use subdued lighting, downlit lighting as much as possible. Usually when we build one of these projects, we think we do a good job. One of the neighbors calls, we do a better job. So again, sometimes it's eye of the beholder kind of thing. Sometimes you look around, you don't think anybody can see the building, and you don't know that a house through the woods over there, and we'll make those accommodations. Number 16, impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. We check yes, because if you check no, you're really being pretty smart. I don't know that, but any impacts that we can think of are either very small or are non-existent. So you check yes, and then you go down through those list of examples and you check no or small impact may occur.
Well, you said you consider there are some small impacts. Can you give me an example or two?
Let's see what we have. The proposed action may result in the unearthing of solid or hazardous waste. I don't think so. But it could. We could find a paint bucket. So we write no, we check off no or small. The proposed action may result in the migration of explosive gases from a landfill site to adjacent off-site structures. Well, so we check no. So it's those kind of things. Number 17, consistency with community plans. We check yes, because certainly this project has been a topic for board meetings for the past 10 years. And as we've talked about this particular location and the alienation process and so on and so forth, the only comments we've received have been positive comments, especially when people realize we're substituting lands in to make up for the lands we're taking out. And I think anyone who is reasonable would conclude that the town needs a new highway garage if you go to the existing one. So, we're using our judgment on that, but we feel confident that we're consistent with community plans. And finally, consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character. Inconsistent with the existing, we check yes. I hate when there's double negatives. Open to suggestions. The impacts are no or small or small. Community character, We're doing a highway garage. We'll make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible. But it is a highway garage, a 14,000 square foot highway garage.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. So we're not done yet.
Okay.
All right. So, but I roger that. So anyway, this is the part two. Yes, Joe.
Illumination, is that gonna be motion detected or just, is it gonna be up all
Well,
night?
Usually some are up all night and others are motion detectors.
Because my concern is the neighbors.
Yeah, and the ones that are up all night are downlit. And we do our best to make sure that we don't impact a neighbor. But if we do, or if we think we are, we can always do a test. We can put it in our design, we can do a test, and then if a neighbor complains, we can respond to that. And that happens.
There is no neighbor.
No, I don't know about that.
I know, but you never know if somebody's got something through the woods so where they can see that spot.
Right.
They've been looking at darkness and stars and now all of a sudden, so we try to accommodate that.
Some of that lighting though is, a requirement by state. Reimer, our insurance carrier, and
And again, it's a critical structure. People are showing up during blizzards. Can't depend upon a motion detector, so it's that kind of thing. So what we've done by doing that is gone through the 18 issues that are identified in the part two. The board has the narration that goes along with that to complete the record. So what I've given the board is a resolution to issue a determination of environmental significance pursuant to seeker for an action involving construction of a new highway garage. So you have that resolution, and then you have a back front piece of paper that says full environmental assessment form, evaluation of the magnitude and importance of project impacts and determination of significance. And that form is to be signed by the supervisor. And what the supervisor and the board are concluding is that the project will result in no significant adverse impacts on the environment, and therefore an environmental impact statement need not be prepared. Accordingly, this negative declaration is issued. So we need the supervisor to sign that after the board agrees with our determination with this resolution.
Can you ask if anybody in the audience has any comments at this point?
So does anybody in the audience have any comment? Anybody here have any comments or questions, concerns on anything that they just heard for the board secret process? Okay.
That means that your public knows you need a new highway garage. That's what that means.
Yeah, so now we want to do the resolution.
It's up on the screen.
Wildlife is also affected by lighting. Just want to mention that. So, if lighting is not white, it has a less effect on insects. I'm sure that bring that into the design.
Yes.
Again.
Okay, so the resolution's on top. Agreed, why not cut that one?
Just read the title.
Resolution to issue a determination of environmental significance pursuant to seeker for an action involving construction of a new town highway garage.
A second.
All right, any discussions further on this?
Fix the typo.
Someone here? If I have an email.
Oh, it's fixed up there.
This version's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's the other version.
Okay.
That was it.
You got in?
No.
It was seconded.
Well, you actually make a motion?
Yes.
Yes, who seconds?
Diane.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know.
No, anything?
Well, I'm good unless you want me to stay till 10.
No,
You'll build against the solidarity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good comments. Christian, I want to thank you for your comments also.
Yes.
That was very insightful. Okay, make a motion, to open public hearings.
Which public hearing?
First one is the Arizona investments.
That's a public hearing pursuant to chapter 19.
This is the Arizona.
Yes.
So no, but just that, don't just, add a motion open public hearing. Specify specifically what.
Which one?
So this is this is.
Wait, hold on a minute. Are we going to open the public hearing and then list each one of them now? Or?
No, we open public
There's
hearing.
separate public hearing.
Separate.
Separate determination.
Hearing.
And it might be, makes sense to go through if the other business is gonna be short, but that's. In case there's individuals here who are not.
I'd rather just do public hearings and get them out of the way.
Yeah, for the timeline and.
This is this is Arizona, the request for public hearing regarding Expo 2023, number 16, the Arizona Road Issue.
So it's chapter 19 of the town code.
Chapter 19 of the town code.
That's
It's a public hearing, so,
there's a resolution.
yeah, I mean, you made a motion. This is what it's about, so this we need to ask you, who's gonna be comment.
Does anybody in the audience want to comment about the Arizona resolution?
You made a motion.
Made a motion.
For the public hearing.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't-
All right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So passed? All right, so the first one is the Arizona.
More than that.
Anybody wish to speak?
And I'd like to reiterate that there are sign-up sheets over there for people who are going to participate in the public hearings.
Good evening, Supervisor Balms and members of the Early Town Board. I am present tonight representing Arizona Hudson Valley LLC, the owner of 198 Heritage Drive. We formally dispute the invoice number 020674 amounting to $2,450 received on January 11th, 2025 due to the following reasons. Reason 1, town's responsibility to issue monthly statements. According to Town Code 19-4-A, consultants shall submit itemized vouchers for disbursement of fees for their services on a monthly basis. However, in this case, the work was completed on January 10th, 2024, yet no invoices were received until January 11th, 2025, more than 11 months after completion. Furthermore, the town of Hurley received Grant Line's invoice number 200674 on March 15th, 2024, leading to potential penalties due to non-payment, placing unnecessary financial risk on the town. Second reason, incorrect recipients in failure to rectify invoice errors. The invoice in question was initially sent to an uninvolved private individual, a clear administrative error. Since then, no corrective action has been taken to date, further compounding mismanagement of this matter. Third reason, unjustified charges and delays. After an initial call to confirm our findings, Grant and Lyons requested a $500 escrow, which Arizona provided. Despite repeated follow-ups, it took 6 months for a simple confirmation with constant delays and excuses. They then billed 14.75 hours for research. Despite receiving a memorandum they largely copied, Early Town Code 19-3-F prohibits excessive fees for unnecessary services. This unnecessary delay and unjustified charges, which the planning board could have resolved earlier, caused significant setbacks. This situation raises significant financial accountability concerns. The burden of these failures should not fall on our organization when the responsibility lies with the town. We have provided all necessary documentation to support our position and formally request that these invoices be nullified. The notice of public hearing we received cites compliance with Town Code 19-5-F and falsely claims we are delinquent. However, we were the ones who requested this hearing, and per standard procedure, an invoice disputed within 90 days is not considered delinquent. This appears to be a deliberate tactic by the town clerk, who has a documented history of legal actions against Arizona, seemingly aimed at delaying us and jeopardizing our SUP compliance. Given this clear and historic conflict of interest, we formally request that town clerk Bailey recuse herself from all matters related to Arizona and the subject property.
Do you make that available to the?
Yeah, I'd like to see a copy of that, please.
Do you have a copy of it?
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question, Mark. Are you disputing being excessive or not being timely?
Both.
Between both, both.
Absolutely.
Excessive in what way?
14 hours.
14 hours.
They charge 14.75 hours for, I apologize, George Bem, represent Arizona Hudson Valley, 198 Heritage Drive. We're disputing it in two ways. First of all, that it's excessive, 14.75 hours to basically copy and paste what we sent them via email and followed up, throughout 6 months, is egregious to say the least. And, as most of everyone here, law's the law. So if E-code 360 or Town Code says, hey, we're supposed to know we have budgets to respect. This is one of many developments that we're doing. So it doesn't matter whether it's $2,000, $20,000, or $200,000 or $2. Fact is, we're in compliance. The town is not in compliance. It's not our responsibility to pay something that's not due. It's over a year late.
Grant and Lyons requested an escrow, or the planning board requested an escrow?
So we had to call Grant and Lyons to be able, the story is, we own the street. Now we know that there's a street basically that's at the corner of Walton and Heritage. As part of that, we wanted to bury some cables, some electric cabling. In order to do that, we went to the town, went to the building code enforcer. Building code enforcer said, hey, we need something written confirming that you own the road. Having gone to the planning board basically told us, well, you have to confirm that with our attorney, Grant Lyons. We called up Grant Lyons. Sure, absolutely no problem, but you have to do it through the town.
Through what?
Through the town. No problem whatsoever. Maggie Colon requested a $500 escrow, which was requested by Grant Lyons because it's one simple email saying, I confirm your findings, which we sent some of our staff to Ulster County, to the town repeatedly to be able to get the exact code or I think the LIBOR, if I'm not mistaken. Took them 6 months to get an answer after me being, heckling at them.
finally everything was done, no news from the town. We expect, one email answer, to be worth $500. Even though I believe that, the town has a fixed, basically hourly cost with Red Lines, which I don't expect to be $500 an hour.
No, standard escrow though for, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but the planning board generally, correct me if I'm wrong, ask for $500 escrow immediately upon, right?
But
Which was
he's
for,
well into it. I mean, this is
This is-
very, very
yeah.
end. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking years ago, we already been approved with the planning board. So this is just about this road issue. But
Yeah.
And
No,
they
no,
did
so-
all, they did all the
So this
research.
is not, this came before, that road issue came before the planning board?
no,
No,
No, Lions,
Not
they
even.
provided all the information to Lions to say here, we own the road, because Lions just wasn't sure. They provide all the information, then they get charged 14.75 hours to be, oh yeah, you're right.
But we, the town, are charging that, Grand Lines charged us, gave us an invoice, and then we're given.
that's correct.
Then they have,
Right.
okay.
So
I just wanted to understand.
you guys were provided
The way
an
this is
escrow back in, I believe, March, 2024. And there was no new, which we did not know, obviously, because every month we're supposed to get a disbursement of such, of our escrow account. Normally, if the escrow gets low, just like when we dealt with the planning board previously, escrow gets low, we repay whatever we need to, and then we add in, some extra funds. In this case, there was absolutely nothing, back until December 26th, where something was sent to the wrong person. So I could have been, frankly, I could have just said, hey, I never got it. This was sent to a lady, Gabrielle Desantonio, not to our office. It's not like the town had any issues, communicating with us.
Yeah.
And we could have been, unethical, never come back to the town, say, hey, we never got it, but we discussed this straight up. And it's a little bit concerning to be honest with you, Ms. Doherty, receiving a notice basically to appear that's claiming that we're delinquent. Because if we do that,
This is taking us here, right?
if.
package.
So if we're delinquent, basically, our special use permit claims that, we have to comply with everything in the SUP and whatnot. Just puts our SUP in severe, let's say, danger at that specific point in time. And we could lose our permits, which we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars obtaining. Which also, is a clear conflict of interest, having the town clerk send us this. Miss Bailey present here, which could have been instructed to send it that way, could have been a clerical mistake, whatever it is. Just having someone that's sending us these notices, having sued us multiple times, is a clear issue for us. And
So just to clarify, right now you're talking about the notice for this hearing.
yes, sir.
So if you're requesting the hearing, you're challenging what are being claimed as delinquent fees to the planning board for consulting costs. So if you're not challenging what's being claimed as delinquent fees, then we're not having the hearing. That's what the wording in the statute is. So if you're challenging what are being claimed as delinquent fees, that's a term for the planning board saying these fees are owed for professional services, and they're saying you didn't pay them, so they're delinquent. That gives you the basis for the challenge and to have this hearing. So I just want that clear. So what's before them is the criteria, which you made clear. Seems like there's 2 points. Point number 1 is that you did not receive monthly statements pertaining to your escrow, and you only received after a period of a year, basically bills that were from, and I'm looking at the actual attorney's bills now, and they go back to 2023, and the attorney bills basically from services in October 2023 through services in February of 2024.
but you didn't receive it until December of 2024. Okay, so that's the one question that you guys have to look at. The other question is whether these fees, and again, looking at what the fees are for, whether they were reasonable and necessary for making this determination.
Okay, so this whole thing down here, that's what was confusing.
Yeah,
That was what was,
That,
so now you
that,
cleared that
that is
up.
basically under this statute, the only basis for them to challenge is if the planning board saying that these fees are delinquent and should be paid. Now they can say and look at it and say, no, these fees aren't valid. So therefore, you know.
So on that note, then we refute the last,
Yeah,
the last paragraph in that case, that we've construed in another map.
yeah, I got it now. Thank you. That's,
So our apologies for the
no,
last
that's
paragraph.
fine. Yep.
Okay. Anyone see if anyone else wants to talk on this? On the planning board who.
Anybody in the public that wants to make any, is here to make any comments on this? hearing?
Can't imagine, I can't imagine where they got that address from. You know, that they originally sent the bill to, because tax bills, right there, we had different address. I think that was, you know.
You're talking about the,
Gabrielle,
yeah,
Yeah.
Right, don't know where they got that from, I mean, it's not on our records. So that was certainly a huge, error on the part of the planning board.
But what was the date of that letter anyway? You said you saw the letter.
December, so it was sent December 26th. We got it in our offices on January 11th.
And the last time that John Lyons contacted you was in a year before?
January.
Year before?
Right, the bill from Lions is March of 2023.
This is a December 26th, 2024. You're talking about well over a year.
And I must say that, town clerk, Bailey present here had no issues communicating with us, sent an email to Mr. Shake that represents the company as well, and has been, you know, very cordial, no issues communicating since then. So I don't understand either how they could have obtained the address of the wife of.
Well, it was also sent the year before. She wasn't even a town clerk at that time, so it would have absolutely nothing to do with that.
No, I'm just saying.
That would be
since then.
something sent from the planning. But again, I think the biggest issue isn't necessarily that it was sent to the wrong address, but that as we go through the statute, do you guys have the chapter 19 and the criteria that you guys want to review? One of which pertains to the requirement that monthly invoices be sent showing how much is being charged against the escrow left in it, and if additional escrow is needed. So there's nothing in the records that the planning board has provided. You guys reviewed those records?
yes.
To show that any communications
They're not
pertaining.
disputing it part of this way.
Yeah, so that is one of the issues you look at, and then did you look at the specifics that were billed for?
Yeah, back there, right?
Yeah.
And does anyone have any comments as to whether, see, it looks like a total of,
Joe, can you pass that up? Oh, can you look at
I
that?
believe it's 2950 minus
Yeah.
the $500
It's a total of
deposit, 4450.
14.75 hours, to review this matter by the attorney, and the total amount billed was $2,950.
Anything else you want to say, Jordan? Justin? Good? All right, any discussion among the board members here?
Not much to discuss.
Yeah. Anybody want to make a motion on something?
Just make sure that.
Well, I would say you guys should probably make, at least discuss, first start with the first criteria of whether you believe it was reasonable and necessary for the special services that were provided, that the planning board needed them in order to make their determination. And then after that, I would suggest then you look at whether the planning board met the requirement pertaining to the.
Well, they didn't meet the requirement.
So you can make a decision based on that alone without addressing anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, we have there's two issues here. Two issues is timely and excessive fees.
So timely, timely billing is like that.
Is that enough for us to dismiss the fees?
Well, you guys can, basically, say that the fees are invalid based on the failure to.
So it says here that it took 4 hours to review your email. So,
Yeah, the fees do not appear to be reasonable to me.
well, they're just not complying with this code.
No.
So, I don't know what else.
we have to agree with both of those things, just one.
Right.
You know, if we agree, in other words, there's a discussion about whether the fees are excessive or not, one thing. Whether the discussion of being timely, it's another thing, another decision.
So it's the subsection is chapter 19, for A and for B. Yeah, B are the criteria that you're basically looking at.
So I think it's 42.
Yeah, it's 4A.
Yeah.
4A.
At four, yeah, for G, basically,
For G,
is that they should submit to the application under the escrow charges and balance on a monthly basis. Shall. So,
Can I request, executive session with client attorney,
You can. Client attorney.
client attorney?
You can.
I'd like to make a motion to,
I'll second.
to go into
executive attorney client section.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This would be very short.
I'll second. All in favor?
What could be considered?
Yeah.
So are you going to? Is there
On this one. So we're gonna close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Pertaining to Arizona.
Right, one public hearing, we have one. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we close the public hearing. What we're gonna do basically, we're gonna be, at the advice of our attorney, more or less, we're gonna be writing this up and we will have a decision
On the next.
I'll make the decision at the
next week.
public hearing.
Public hearing is closed on that issue. Okay?
All right, the next public hearing.
Our next one is, I make a motion to open up the Riot of Moody
A
public
second.
hearing. Any, so we have a second? Second. We have a second, right? Two left. All right.
I didn't hear.
All right. We have a third. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hello, I'm Ryder Moody at 291 Eagles Nest. I was here 2 meetings ago and spoke at the public comment. But it sounds like my issue is very similar to the last one. Just to sort of summarize, I had started the process to apply for building a yurt on my 44-acre property. It's a small, less than 600 square foot structure. I started that process with the planning board in, I believe, July of last year. That's when the first of the fees started accruing. I paid my $500 escrow, was told that I would find out if more fees started accruing past that. Never heard anything about any fees. Was finally approved in the November of 2023 meeting. 2024, sorry. November of 2024 meeting. Didn't find out until January 27th of this year that there was an additional $2,800 something owed, bringing the total to $3,300 plus dollars. Again, for a small yurt. So I'm here to dispute the fees, both on a basis of them being not disclosed, not timely, and also excessive.
Was the only planning board issue the visual assessment? Is that what you?
Yeah, it was a long, drawn out visual assessment process where they went back and forth about colors, lights, every detail.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. Being on the board for 20 years or so, or 25 years, visual assessment. How long to the table?
1 meeting. Yeah. You're just gonna see if somebody's gonna see it. They're gonna see it, okay, then you have to do this, this, and this.
It was
We
5
didn't even go to every visual assessment. We would just say, there was always one of us that was near it about that, be like, oh no. Or
And also for the purposes of this is, we're looking at, looks like attorney's fees in the amount of $2,838.75, pertaining to whether the legal advice was reasonable and necessary to make a visual assessment for how large is the yurt?
It's a 27-foot diameter structure,
That's lawyer and-
572 square feet.
Yeah,
Well,
lawyer
yes.
and-
All right, so it looks like, yeah, there are planning fees.
Yeah, okay, Deb, you can
Yeah, I reviewed this application in extreme detail. And, they weren't, we didn't adhere to 19G. We did not send him summaries monthly. In fact, we sent incorrect numbers
Yeah, it was initially,
several times as well.
I got a few different numbers over different periods of time.
Did you also say that you got a letter saying they planning didn't even know how much you owe?
Yeah, so initially they said I owed an additional about $4,000. Then they emailed me back and said, actually ignore that. And then it took another, I think, month plus to hear the total was actually 2,800.
And I confirmed that.
Anybody else want to make a comment? I'm sorry, are you finished, Ryder?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody in the, wish to speak on this matter?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second.
Further discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I
You had your chance. Still got one more to go.
Just a thought, maybe planning and,
We
did.
We
already did it
yeah,
once.
We did
Oh,
that,
we already did that.
but January,
Month ago.
we're going a different direction.
I recommend that we, since the public hearing's closed, I recommend that we, make a decision, have a resolution, make a decision on this in the next board meeting.
I'll second.
Yeah. All right, as everyone in agreement?
Yes.
All those in
All those in favor?
Yes.
I,
Well, we have to second it first.
I did, I seconded it.
Diana seconded.
What's your theory? All right,
Thank you so much.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
March
11th.
in West Charlotte. At the
And
firehouse.
he doesn't have to be here, because we closed the public, because we closed the public, yeah, we just have the resolution that we'll read.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you certainly can come if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to open up, Doyle Kaywood public hearing. Or the second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Ready for handle?
You want to keep it on? Keep it on.
This is for the Doyle Kingwood lot line adjustment on Spillway Road. Lot line adjustment application, copy final, filed, approved, paperwork via US Post Office. December 20th, 2024 was signed by Maggie Colon clerk on 11/18/2024 and filed with town clerk on 11/19/2024 by deputy clerk Kathy. Maps, paper, and Mylar received and signed by all parties, including town board members, Peter McKnight and Mitchell.
Planning board.
Planning.
Planning board.
Oh.
The planning board.
Okay. I need to adjust my glasses. They were signed on December 9th, 2024. Maps were filed with the Ulster County Clerk. All files, fees, and tax certs paid 12/31/2024. Unexpectedly received Town of Hurley Planning Board. I gotta write that down. Correspondence via certified mail, January 22nd, 2025. Letter regarding escrow lot line adjustment stipulating adding $755 due on the 27th of January, 2025. Immediately traveled to the Town of Hurley office. Same day, hoping to speak with Supervisor Mike Bonds. Staff indicated unfortunately he left and advised to send email directly to Supervisor with specific data on issue. Email was sent, went through several people, accumulating, finally ending with Building Supervisor Paul
Economos.
He indicated, spoke with Supervisor Bombs and asked I attend town board meeting on the 2/11/2027 of 25. Plus write directly to supervisor with CC building inspector stating aggravated by unexpected fees from the Town of Hurley Planning Board. Email sent as requested. Supervisor Baum sent an email on 2/11/2025. Hearing to be scheduled for 2/25/25. There we go. Town board meeting on our complaint for excessive planning board fees. Attended board meeting on 2/11/25, received on 2/11/2025 to certified mail. Notice of public hearing scheduled on 2/25/2025 to address additional escrow fees of $755. Please note, we never received any summary of escrow charges or balance until January 22nd, 25. Well, after lot line adjustment application, final approved paperwork assigned on 11/18/2024. Maps signed by town planning board members and on December 9th, 2024. Aggrieving this matter of unexpected fees, no summary of any additional escort charges, no monthly bills, no notification, not billed timely by planning board, request dismissal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. So you asking for, are you going for excessive fees or are you going for timely? Timeliness?
I think it's the timeliness of it.
Not the excessive fees.
No, well, I don't understand the excessive fees because within the past year, Mike Beesmer had just sold that property to the people of the Capewoods. And they had already done all of the different things that they said that they needed to be done with us. So basically what they did was they looked at the other stuff and just jumped back over to us and says, okay, it's good, you're go.
What was the first date that you went to the planning board initially? I'm sorry, I missed it.
It was on November.
The first day that we went to the planning board was back in October.
In October, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Let
you.
me ask you a question. Here it says, for your escrow agreement dated August 19th, 2024. You said your first meeting with the planning board was in October? That,
And generally with the application, they have the
Oh, the
escrow agreement
application. Yeah.
is signed with the application and the initial escrow payment is submitted. So that would be prior to the first.
October?
Okay. So the information that was updated from the planning board has the application submitted, technically considered submitted in September.
We paid $500 and then the 500 escrow. So we gave $1,000 to,
$8,000?
500 escrow, 500 application. So
Yeah.
they've got $1,000 of money.
And then this is a bill in addition.
Right.
That's just because the application fee is so much.
So you
The
actually,
application fee is not before.
Correct.
This is only pertains to whether, the charges for professional consulting services are reasonable, necessary, like very necessary and complied with chapter 9.
let's see what the, let's see. Yes, but it doesn't sound weird. It's doing the same thing over and over again.
They didn't send this bill. I think what that is on September. We sent it out. So this was sent out 12/19. She sent the bill out, and she sent the summary out a month later.
So it does seem that this is within a month of.
Right, the question. This is not so great that we got it here. It didn't look here and we didn't receive it till the end of December. So we couldn't,
Yeah,
I mean, let me see, is the invoice here?
no invoicing.
No, no information like that, because where's the invoices?
This is all we got. You have it on, can we look,
Yeah. I
Maggie,
can
put
look
it
at
on
where else Maggie. So there's.
And if they signed off on that back in December, they knew that there was gonna be teeth, but never signed anything until. They just didn't get
So
it.
here's Grant and Lyons sent.
What's the receipt?
The attorneys sent an invoice. Looks like at the end of October. And it was signed off for departmental approval on
Oh,
November.
so then that's us.
But you see, the problem is that the code states that they need to get a monthly summary. And it doesn't matter who sent in their invoice or who did it, that's irrelevant. We need to, each person, each applicant need to get at the end of each month, a summary of their escrow, period.
you would have got, in other words, your first escrow would not have had to be at 12/19. So the one in December, the one in January would have had it.
Right.
So you, basically what you weren't getting, you weren't getting monthly bills.
We've already got everything filed.
Exactly, well, it doesn't matter, but
They didn't get this.
you need to get the bill. And that's what the regulation requires, the code requires that you get the bill. So you know,
I agree.
And what was the date that he received? The
bill?
from?
January 22nd. when we got
You guys have, Doyle okay with file there?
yeah, I mean, this is not, it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter at all. They need to get the bill on a month-to-month basis, period.
We were never ever gonna get in contact.
Okay, let me show you something. In other words, they submitted the escrow on August 19th. No, but it's August 19th, then you get on the agenda 2 weeks later.
It was the 10th, they didn't fly. No, on the 19th, they meant to used to meet the third sometimes, but no, that would have been a month after that.
Right. We don't need more of this.
Right, but so we're in September.
Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
we understand. Yes,
Okay,
we
because it's irrelevant whether they
We
meet
understand.
or not meet, they need to get this bill
We
period.
I agree.
We're just trying to figure out when they were first seen in, by the board.
Okay. Anything else you want to say? Does you all want to say something?
It's just, we had no notification. It was very unexpected. We thought everything was done,
Sure, yeah,
completed, and ready to
the
go.
map signed and everything.
Yeah, so we had everything at hand. And we were doing it through Bernier and Larios. They represented us on the board. We gave them the act, thinking it'd be easier for you guys as well.
I make a motion to close the public hearing. Kaywood Doyle.
I'll second.
All right. All, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that, as per others, that we have, Matt Jankowski.
Well, you guys will deliberate at the next meeting and issue your decision on this matters.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Come visit tomorrow?
Hopefully. You guys do a great job.
Okay. We close this one. Now we open up,
No, next is, 329.
stand-up property. I make a motion to open up the 329 Old Route 2 around New York.
And let's note that this is a hearing pursuant to chapter 64, regarding a determination of an unsafe building.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We open the meeting. Anybody wish to speak on this list?
So, we're good. Listen.
Just make it fresh.
Good evening. My name is Michael Juby, and I am actually here to listen to what you folks have to say before I can say anything.
Well, this issue of stand-up property is,
You want to let everyone else, if he just wants to listen, and then
Right, but they don't even know what they're going to talk about. Like, are we here to tell them that we're gonna
Yeah,
condemn the
are we-
building,
are
we're gonna take it down? Like, they need to know from us
Exactly.
what this is for, for them
Exactly.
to be able to make a comment.
Exactly.
well, I just want to get background information on this. This is going on for 12 years, I believe, right?
It's been going on for a long time. We're a little bit concerned that somebody's gonna get hurt there, possibly set it on fire, not to mention what it looks like for the neighborhood. But there's a big safety issue, and you guys are taking 12 years to do something. It's, it's,
But maybe we can give people the parameters, like, are we looking for people to make comments as to why we should?
well, this is
condemn
a
it?
public
Are we-
hearing. So we were allowing for people to make comments. So did you read the notice that was sent? So basically, it was declared an unsafe building by the building inspector. It was determined to be an unsafe building by the town board. A notice as such, which is required under the law, was sent to the property owner on record, as well as served upon the county clerk's office, or filed with the county clerk's office. And now this hearing is for any additional information to be provided pertaining to whether this structure should continue to be declared and reaffirmed as unsafe, at which point then the town can potentially take actions into their own hands if the property owner has failed to take action already.
well, I think it's pretty obvious that the property owner has failed to take action. This is the second month that we've been here for this meeting. And obviously, I'm not getting anything from the town. What is the town going to do? What are our options? I could go offer the guy $100,000 for that property that's probably worth 15. If I buy it, I gotta take it down, tear it down. If the town takes it, they tear it down, maybe I get it for taxes. Or maybe someone else here may get it for taxes.
Taxes are pretty dominant.
Whatever the cost would be. I mean, we're not getting any direction from you guys. You want us to come up here and tell you what we think.
No,
we're not getting.
You don't have an opportunity. They're
Okay,
giving you an
well,
opportunity.
okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity to ask you guys, what are you gonna do?
Okay, you've already declared it to be unsafe.
Okay,
All right. Well, in order to declare it unsafe and to do something with it, you have to do a public hearing.
okay.
So anytime the government is doing something to your private property, there are things called due process and procedures that are required.
I understand that.
Okay, so that is partially what this hearing is about. So the notice has been sent out, the proper orders have been made.
Has there been any
And now
communication with the owner and the town?
Yes.
Well, what is your stand? She wanted to
Well,
keep it?
we
She
didn't have
wanted to rebuild
a communication with her. We had communication with her son.
it? With her son?
With her son.
Yeah.
All right, and we told him exactly how we felt as a town and what's going through. He just wanted more time to, I'm not sure why he wanted more time to assess the situation better. Our response to that was, no. You've had 12 years
I agree.
to do this kind of thing. He has, in other words,
But he's not the owner, right?
he's just, well, right now his mom is hospitalized.
But she's the owner of record. So you really, no sense even talking to him, right?
Well, you're right.
Rather than to make statements, and then you guys can talk, deliberate, and
So basically, we declared the house already unsafe. So we're looking for input from the public on whether you agree with that or disagree with that.
I
What's
agree
your
100%.
opinion on that, and then, then we.
and if you
continue to move
have an
forward.
opinion or suggestions how you think the town should proceed, you can share that at this time as well.
I think the town ought to knock it down.
Thank you.
Down to the foundation.
Okay.
And maybe somebody will come in and buy the property and put a nice house on it. Try to make the neighborhood nicer.
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate that.
All right, and those more wishes.
Anybody else want to speak? Yes, do we have unsafe buildings?
I'll speak
It's
with
pretty obvious.
Stick your name. Hello there, everyone. Tim Kelly, 119 Griffin Drive. And I'd just like to applaud the town for taking action, right? This is an issue that's been going on for a long time, but it takes, courage to actually take action. And that is what is actually happening here. This issue will be getting addressed now. So I'd like to thank this board for your action.
Thank you, Tim.
I have a resolution here. I could read it, and then you guys can,
Well, let's just see if there's nobody else wants to make any comment on the condition or what they believe how the town should proceed with regard to this unsafe building? No? All right, so you guys want to?
you gotta volunteer. Is that the resolution?
I'm not sure if it's in the packet, so while she speaks, I'm looking.
Francesca Sabati, I live right across the road from Alice Dengo. Francesca Sabati, I live right across the road from Alice Dengo.
Just go a little closer to the, and speak up.
Oh, do I have to repeat that again?
Yeah.
Just your name and address.
Francesca Sabati, 328 Old Route 209. I know that in the past, the town had mandated that she clean out her property or just mow the lawn to make it look nice from the outside. And I know that they threatened her with a fine if she didn't do it, and she did do it. And I was wondering if we could do something like that.
Here's your question. When was that done?
That was done many years ago.
She mowed it last year.
No, she didn't. No, she has not mowed it in several years.
was-
So we're talking, I don't know,
There's
approximately
a whole.
like 6 years ago.
There's just so much.
I mean, there were a couple of times where she had to hire out and get people to clean up property because of the town's enforcement on that. Otherwise, she would be fined. And I'm wondering if that's something that you would consider doing again, because at this point, now that it's been several years later with no maintenance on the property, it's literally, you can't even see the house. It's just full of weed trees in the front. And then it attracts a lot of wildlife. I know that my former neighbor said they would see coyotes there, like at 5 a.m. in the morning on her property. And this is right in a very populated residential area.
Thank you. Sure.
I just want to make a comment, Mr. Juby. This matter was brought to us by town board member, Diana Oliva. Diane Klein. She brought it to this one here. She brought it to our attention, and once she brought it to our attention, we then went to the CEO, Paul Amos, and he actually came up with the whole file there, and we asked him to proceed with it, now go through it. And because of Diana bringing it up to town board, actually being done, so we are doing something.
Thank you, Diane.
All overdue.
Right. She has to drive by it every day.
Yeah.
She lives across the street.
Well,
Yeah, is,
that's-
anyone else wishes to, make comments at all before I read the resolution?
Yeah, it's not in the packet, so you'll have to read it.
And just so that you all, understand what powers that you guys can, now that, procedural requirements to process has been fulfilled. You know, you have already ordered that the house be repaired and if not demolished. There has been no commencement of any repairs or movement towards demolishing the house. So you have the power to basically at this point, take those actions yourselves as a town, make that decision, to basically, you know, hire a contractor to do that and then assess the costs against the property.
Right.
Have all of you guys reviewed the statute or the previous notices and orders that were served on the property? Okay, does anyone have any questions or?
I know Paul had said that he wouldn't even know if it was safe to go there yet. So by doing this, that we can hire a contractor to go and then they would assess what.
What needs to be done?
Okay.
And anything that gets charged to the town,
It's
we will
charged.
then be able to, based on this, we will be able to put it on the tax roll. So this will
We'll
not
be
be,
assessing it.
right,
Okay.
so it won't be borne by the taxpayers. The cost won't be borne by the taxpayers.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for
A second.
Sango property. Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to read the resolution. Resolution pursuant to chapter 64. Termination of an unsafe building and approving action by the town to demolish and remove the building. Whereas the building and premises of 329 Old Route 209, the town of Hurley, New York, having been unoccupied in a state of advanced disrepair for approximately 12 years, and whereas on December 4, 2023, a written complaint was received by the town of Hurley code enforcement officer regarding the condition of the building and premises, and the complaint was deemed valid following an inspection on January 8, 2024. And whereas the CEO observed severe damage to the roof, a failure to maintain the building and yard, and unsecured windows and doors, and whereas the CEO's attempt to contact the owner of the premises have gone unanswered and no repairs or maintenance haven't been performed on the property, and whereas the CEO served a notice of violation by certified mail on August 12th, 2024, and by conspicuously posting the notice on the front door of the premises at 329 Old Route 209, Early, New York, and whereas following inspections, the CEO has provided a report pursuant to section 64-5 of the town code to the town board of the town of Early dated September 16, 2024, outlining his findings that the building and premises of 329 Old 209 are unsafe and recommending action be taken by the town board to address the unsafe building. And whereas the town board has considered the report and recommendation of the CEO, and whereas A notice of hearing was served on the owner of record and filed with the county clerk pursuant to chapter 64 of the town of Dudley Code. And whereas the notice contained the order of the town board that the unsafe conditions be corrected by repair. In the event repairs cannot be made, the structure be demolished and removed. And whereas a hearing was held on this matter pursuant to section 64-9 of the town code at 10 Walmsley Place, New York, on February 25th at 2025 around 6 p.m. Whereas more than 30 days have elapsed since service of this initial notice and the property owner has not commenced with making the building safe and secure, demolishing and removing the same. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Hurley affirms a determination that the building 329 Old Route 209 is an unsafe building as defined in section 64-4 of the town code. And be it further resolved that the town shall provide for the building's repair, and in the event repairs cannot be made, the demolition and removal thereof. And be it further resolved that the town shall have an RFP prepared for the work necessary to address the unsafe building. And be it further resolved that the town shall assess all expenses thereof against the land at 329 Old Route 209 and shall institute a special proceeding to collect the cost of demolition, including legal expenses. I make this motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a second and a third. And a discussion being held. The motion was brought to a vote, which is as follows. Any further discussion, first of all?
No.
All right. All in favor of this motion? Aye. No opposed? We'll do roll call. Mike Barnes, I say yes.
Jeff Doherty, yes.
Yes.
Diana Klein, yes.
Joe Latender, yes.
Having motion has been passed by 5-0.
Now we go next, what's the next step now?
Next step now is to go to Paul Economos, and he assesses it, he gets a building, has someone to survey the building and make recommendations for what goes on, and then we follow through. Solve it on this. This is gonna be, this is gonna be followed.
Yeah, I'll touch base with Paul. And we'll go over.
12 years is too long a time. This is.
I understand. I appreciate you, voting in that capacity. It's for the betterment of the whole town, not to mention the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All about.
Yeah, firefighter.
But that's been posted. So you can bring that up.
The fire thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Take a minute to get to it, but it's here, I promise. Local law. Firefighters, volunteer firefighters, yes.
Oh, no, it's
Make a motion to open up the town, public hearing on town of Hurley local law number 2025, a local law amending chapter 189 of the town of Hurley code to authorize a partial tax exemption upon the real property for volunteer firefighters and volunteer EMS workers pursuant to section, you guys.
Excuse me.
Read that again. Local law amending chapter 189 of the town of Hurley code to authorize a partial tax exemption upon real property for volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers pursuant to section 466A, the New York State real property tax law. Okay.
Motion.
Yeah, that's.
Second. All right, the hearing is now open.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, all in favor?
And let the record reflect that not only has Deb recused, but she has left the
Just left the building.
She's somewhere.
All right, is there anyone here to speak on this proposed local law?
All right.
It's a wonderful idea.
You know,
The state's allowing us to do this, and I think it's,
well, we're the last ones to be doing this because, both Ontario Central Schools and King's have already passed this. And all the towns passed this also.
I would
And
also,
also, has passed this too. There's one stipulation here that has to be.
It's not a stipulation. We'll discuss the law is written as written. And it can, yeah, it's pursuant to 466A. And then we can discuss any other things at further things. But,
This has to be put in by March 1st.
Yeah, it has to do it now. Okay,
oh, that's right, yes.
it has to be right. It has to be put in tomorrow. Literally. Get it done. So I'm not gonna be so big.
So we want to close the public hearing
Yes.
before we discuss it further?
I'll close the public, make one, I'll close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Closed. Okay. All right, so
We vote on this.
you gonna vote on this? I make a motion to amend.
Yeah, no, so basically, we are doing it, we have a resolution adopting local law 1 of 2025. The local law amending chapter 189 of the town of Harley Code. And instead of, so you won't have to read it. So basically, you are taking the,
Motion.
yeah. Basically to adopt local law 1 of 2025 to read as in the form attached.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So we have, Michael Megan and I, Debbie Downey is, accused.
Yeah, and no further discussion by the board. Why don't you do a roll call?
Mike Bond, yes.
Simpson, yes.
David Klein, yes.
Charles Tender, yes. Okay, there's 4 ayes, one accused. Okay. So this is gonna go into the assessor's office tomorrow, and because that's needed by.
One person to get there.
Yeah.
Has to be certified.
Yeah, the
Excuse
exemption.
me, Matt,
Sorry, what?
who else do I have to send this? Would you give me instructions on who else?
This goes to
Yes, and well, the assessor, but you also have to file it with the Secretary of State. So that needs to.
Will you be here tomorrow, Lynn?
Yes,
You take care of this then, because I won't be here tomorrow.
yes. Well, it says, okay, so. So after I certify it, I'll send it to the Secretary of State in Albany.
Is there a timeline? John, is there a timeline for the Secretary of State? to
So
get
she- we can have the clerk certify and then send a certified copy to the assessor's office. That's what the assessor's gonna need to do to submit that to the county.
So,
But we also need to send it to the state.
You have to do the state, but for us, the state's not gonna potentially view.
Okay, but in other words, there is no time, no.
if you could check
Let's
over
touch
the
base
timeline
tomorrow.
with me tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, we have now closed all the public hearings. We're now into
I'll send it. Yeah, keep that there.
She went, I'm not sure she went in the office or somewhere else.
I'll check.
in the office. I want to thank you guys. You guys seem to be doing the right thing. Decided that everybody get a tax exemption. Okay, just to let you know that, we have received 3 kiosks. All right, cost of $6,900, of which Hudson Valley Greenway. Is that what it's called, Hudson Valley Greenway? Hudson River Valley Greenway is going to pay half of it. So that's 34.45. Right, and the town will pay the other 34.45. So, and also, we've also, I have given, a check to Vincent Nugent Hall.
Yeah.
Right, and he's gonna repair two of the kiosks that are there. Right, right. And what we're gonna try to, yeah, so we're gonna have.
So I just need to walk the proper, walk the line.
Right,
And
you
see
have to
where I
follow-
want to put it.
Right, so, Mike Schultz has the kiosk, it's in the old garage. All right, so when, there's a whole kit of how you have to, how you have to.
Well, I think it's just. Anything else should be. Built.
I think I have to stay up the ground.
Yes.
Yeah,
Around there, say, structures,
Okay.
without the roof, this is how it is.
Okay. All right, so we'll get that done, but
Yeah, so what I need to do is.
will you talk to, who's the other, the rail trail chairperson?
Heather.
Heather,
Yeah.
you talk to Heather and Netta,
She's already made some recommendations, but
recommendations to where to place it?
but I actually want to.
Okay, all right,
There's
we'll,
plenty of-
yeah,
there's plenty
we're not
of
gonna do it tomorrow, we're gonna do it once the, ground goes out. Right, okay, we'll do that, okay, thank you.
So they're all, I mean, you paid the bill obviously for the kiosks and you paid.
Well, we got the kiosks,
I know.
so like, we're paying the bill.
No, I know.
Yeah. All right, so,
Thank you.
That's pretty helpful, that grant.
Yeah.
Yes. It all worked out for both parties.
Yes.
I think it's.
I remember the first conversation, but I wasn't expecting.
we got,
Yeah, so now we got more
I
than.
know, we got even more. It's great. Yeah.
okay. All right, the MS4 report available for public viewing over March 1st.
We're looking at this.
MS.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, EMS.
He wants to get done.
I can.
But
So, we lost a lot of people, but, Governor Hochul has actually signed into law that EMS is now considered an essential service. So that is great news. And as a result, the county is now stepping up. They are talking about, yeah, and they are gonna look at, trying to solve ALS issue, advanced life support issue. And they also have allocated, they have, I think it's a $44 million,
31 million surplus.
31 million, thank you, surplus. They are gonna allocate $5 million to give out to towns. None of this is approved, this is just in the early stages, but just so everyone's aware. Potentially the share for Hurley could be somewhere around $190,000. So that's really good news. And then lastly, Hurley Ambulance Service, Mike and I met with the president of the board and they are moving right along. They should have a contract for us, a draft contract for us soon to review. And they're looking at potentially early outlook of around the end of April, beginning of May to start service.
So where would they keep we use the old firehouse for now until
I
they
think
get
they're gonna,
septic?
I think, yeah, the firehouse has agreed that they would leave them there and they'll have to do some rotation or something initially, but. Okay, good, yep, so that's.
I gotta tell you something. He works real hard. I wanna make her cry.
No crying tonight.
No, but this is something that, no one could believe the speed and how quickly. And, I gotta believe that it's this woman over here that kicked Hochul's. We kept calling her all the time. And the story was that we first called up the county. County says, call up Kathy Hochul. We called up Kathy Hochul. Our response was to call the county. We called both.
So, good, yeah,
Thank you, Debbie.
so it's moving, we're moving.
good job.
Thanks.
And my personal feeling, in about a year or so, counties can take over the entire EMS.
Hope so. Oh, I don't think.
I think so.
I think that's wishful thinking, because I don't.
We're
We're just happy that we're getting the,
Somewhere.
we're getting somewhere.
Getting stuff done.
All right, we did Delaware engineers, we're not gonna repeat that again.
Yep.
New business sidewalks in Old Hurley. This is, I mean, we're the only town, I believe, that the highway department does the shoveling. Other towns, Saugerties,
because we bought the blue stones, we did that, that's why. Right, Mike, that's why, we purchased the blue stone and put that in, the town.
They put the bluestone in back, I think 2004. I know I got the curbing, when they did that project, I got the curbing donated from the DEP and a quarry up off in West Hurley. So that stuff was 100-year-old curbing. But the bluestone, I think, was pretty new. You know, somebody mentioned on mine it was 400 years old.
No, it's not.
But I really think that when they took over this maintenance of the sidewalks, there was 14 crew members on the highway department. We're down to 9 now. It's been a struggle to get to it. I mean, last weekend when we had that bad storm, people were walking on the sidewalk, they trampled the snow down and it found to the issue where it was about 4 or 5 inches of ice on that. So we did use calcium chloride. I researched it. We used a little calcium chloride to lift it up, and then we got the remainder of it off yesterday. Charlie actually went down and shoveled the rest of the ice off because I only had 4 crew in yesterday, and the rest of them were washing the salt off the trucks. So the sidewalk is totally clear now.
So I just suggest you would like us to pass a law, something where now the,
It would be nice to see a sidewalk come into town and
So the homeowners should do their own.
especially if they're gonna expand the sidewalks. I know at one point we had talked about extending the sidewalk down from going up there to the church down the side of the road so that people could get into town to the post office and whatnot. I mean, it's just, there's things that we can do in town that will improve the mobility, but I think the other side of that, the sidewalk law would be beneficial to the town.
Is it true most towns, city, if you have a sidewalk in front of your house?
You can take many towns you have the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think what our issue was,
Required.
because we used the blue stone, it was expensive, we didn't want anybody to ruin it, so that's why we took it over.
The building
Because,
inspector said, he would work with, he worked with I don't know if it's the village of Port Jervis or the town of Port Jervis, and he also worked in the village of Saugerties sidewalk law.
So
So we have a good resource.
So are you saying though that we still wouldn't worry about that then?
well, at this point, that blue stone is so messed up anyway, it doesn't matter. At this point.
But you can't put regular salt on it, right?
yes, we calcium
You
chloride.
can put some magnesium or calcium chloride on it.
And maybe we could provide that for the homeowners.
As part
Again,
of
it's a liability for the
can
town.
require them, so if there's, that they're required to repair too, not just, struggle and stuff. So if the bluestone is deteriorating, they have to repair, replace it with.
I think that, sorry. I understand that it's.
What?
Tends to be-
No, I didn't.
So my understanding is that this was, the county came in and they redid the road. This was part of the agreement that the town made with the county. That we would redo the sidewalk, but we would have to maintain the sidewalk.
No, it's a state law that, the way the laws read, the way the statute reads, that the county, it's a county road, there's a sidewalk there, it's the town's maintenance.
Correct.
And so that's always been the way. And
The town can pass a local law and make it part
But on
of
the
the
same
code
token,
to
you know,
be
as
responsible for adjacent property.
So that wouldn't keep us in liability.
I was gonna say, that would- it's a liability, but nobody's gonna wanna
There's a
take
lot
that on.
more that we can discuss. And deal with it on the basis of safety.
Okay, let's just table that. Let's just open up discussion.
But at least the maintenance was taken care of after this big ice storm, so everything has been corrected. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you,
you
Lenny.
and your
Say
crew.
thank you for, I know that's.
Okay.
That's one more.
Maintenance person.
All right, the next thing is the MS4 report available, public viewing as of March 1st. That MS4 is dealing with stormwater and sewer project. And so basically, we have an engineer inside us working on this. Okay, next thing, the appointment of the building. All right, she has, who's that?
Who's the building?
Kim McConnell. Yeah, McConnell.
Oh, okay, I thought we made her, full-time last time.
No, because she was on probation.
She was on probation.
She was on a probation period.
Okay.
And when that, her probation, she started in September.
She started,
It's like 6 months already, 5 months.
another agent.
She started September.
She started last year.
She started September 12th. All right, and, the probation period is 90 days to a year. Yeah. That is though that once 90 days has come, so we can actually make a decision.
Right, and the other person, she doesn't really like the job.
That's Jessica Jones.
She's
Fantastic.
good.
All right, so, this is a required resolution, because this is just, I think, that it's done.
Okay.
Next thing is,
Mike, just from the record, the MS4 report available public viewing has a 3 months. So you're saying we're gonna have that on our website on first and we'll review it on the 11th.
yes, yes.
Get them to me and I'll put it up. Sure.
Yeah, this is Dennis Lab. Okay, library board volunteers, transportation passes. We discussed it, last time, the, library, we're giving, passes and, coupons to all the volunteers, yeah,
But they're town volunteers. These
town
are-
volunteers, but this is now,
these
okay,
are library.
library, but then, the library board are volunteers.
But they don't get appointed by the town, we get elected.
I know that, I'm just saying, this is a suggestion someone made, I put it in here.
Yeah, I would say no.
Aren't there some volunteers that actually work in the library? Like the person who does the technology group?
That's true too.
What about those people who are giving their time to the library without pay?
Well, there's not very many of them, usually they're,
There's a couple.
Well, it's usually the library board and anybody that volunteers.
Right.
Or to do a soup.
yes, I would say no.
kitchen.
Like Barbara, isn't she a volunteer? The person who does technology.
I don't know if she does or not, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Joe, since you are the,
There's a couple
agent,
volunteers here.
The idea behind this was that the people on the board, who are all volunteers, including you, Diana, as well as me, are offering our time and spending every month providing services, as well as providing services which you and John have done a wonderful job with the soup. There, where now we're going from 40 donations to 50, well, not donations, but 40 customers to 50 customers. So that they are fed. The fact that the board, that many of the town volunteers at the library are also doing other projects like the cabin fever one that's going to be happening next month, and providing all the food as well out of their own pockets. The idea was to give them something back, to thank them for actually doing all this extra work for the town. And not just,
you know, something that, to me, that's a small gesture for a big favor. And I like the idea of giving, volunteers, you know, the courtesy of a pass. It really is, really is not a problem for us to do that, you know, but I think it's a nice gesture to do that and thanking them. Even though it's not part of the town, it is part of the town. It's the town library, and they deserve the recognition as well as everybody else does.
I think you do have some volunteers that are not from the town.
Yeah, they should.
So just have to be careful.
But we take it off of people coming out of school if they need the hours. They'll give,
Our reaction has a reaction.
yeah.
So so it could be the town residents that are volunteering.
But how do you do that? Somebody doing something and it's not gonna get something that somebody else does? Yeah, give somebody else.
Then why not give them to everybody? Give it to everybody.
Right, but if you don't live in town, you can't use it.
They do.
Well,
We have other towns using our.
But you-
So we're talking about the pass, we're not talking about to pay to put, so they still bring garbage, you're paying for the garbage.
Yes, right, just a
Just a tad to get in.
That's all it is. It's a small, you know, it's a small gesture. And I
It's like if
think,
you work on the golf course, you can golf after 2 p.m.
Yes.
so you can bring your golf to 2 p.m.
It's a cool temper.
After 2 p.m.
That's
Top,
a fun time going to it.
Gotta move out of town. They pay them $90.
So I would like, I would like to see town board extend that courtesy to the town, to the volunteers.
So somebody bring forward a resolution?
We'll bring a new resolution on, next meeting.
And
Joe, do you,
Diana and Joe will recuse themselves?
That's right. Well, that's right.
still have contract?
We're still on the board.
All right. We can't vote.
We would be exempting board members from the passes.
So it's just like like they're going with the example about walking in fire department.
They get the passes.
So you would get passes. for volunteers.
Okay, so we'll bring that up at the next board meeting. Okay, next one is, resolution for mowing service. I just want to say something here, because of the, we got a $30,000 grant for electric lawn mowing equipment. Michael, you want that, when are you gonna pick up that,
We're picking up the lawnmower in 2 weeks.
Where are we gonna store it?
garage? The old garage
Garage by you?
on Basin Road. And also Michael is volunteering to give us a trailer to move the,
As long as I can.
That Michael?
that Michael, yes.
There's always a.
I was just gonna say.
There is an,
There's a condition
no, there's a
on that.
condition, he's gonna do it.
We're getting a new one.
Well, he has to get a new one, because of, you have a,
We're taking it from.
We have a roller that we have to tow around when we do patching.
trailer.
Yeah, the new roller doesn't fit on the trailer properly.
They had to get a new trailer, they had to give us a
So it's a win-win situation.
So the thing is, that what we have here, this is actually like a pilot program. We are gonna have our maintenance guy mow, much as you can.
I mean,
But
is he
have
still
this as
20
a
hours,
backup.
is he still 20 hours a week?
That's gonna be the.
It's 20 hours based on building. There's money in the rent. Parks. You come with those.
Just have to see how long, I forget what the length of time. Oh, on one chart.
The thing is, I've already set a date of April 15th. If the snow's gone, so mowing the trash, mowing the landfill, mowing the park, mowing the rail trail. Michael, we mow the rail trail?
We try not to go until.
The only place that, you guys mow.
Don't go right away.
No, we're talking about mowing, no, we're talking about mowing the landfill, we have to mow that.
Well, there's some areas,
We can mow
but in other areas,
I'm just saying, these are the areas that will be mowing, not necessarily at the same time. So we have this RFP for lawn services in case the backup.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna get a backup.
Backup just in
Okay.
case. In other words, it might be too much for him.
Okay, because I know Ron Gibbons asked me over the winter when I saw him, you guys like my mowing job, you know, because he's been mowing for years.
And we don't like his salary, his price salary. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but what we're paying for the RFP, we could give the maintenance guy more hours and.
We could.
Well, that's what we were saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
we could. I mean, if he's gonna be doing that, that's gonna be the crux of his time then. When things like mowing and so forth. You know, so we have an order to,
This is just. What is the more sign a contract?
yes.
So the RFP, what will the RFP say, though, only, as needed, like as called, there's, because no, now the guy just does it on his own. So what we.
I would say.
I already know what you're saying, that you need a backup, but then you better make sure you word that, so the guy's not going out there mowing on his
Right,
own. and that's only
What if you put out,
requested.
what if you put out the RFP for just a portion of it? You the first year you designate, this is gonna get mowed by maintenance guy. See how he does, like having to do Dug Hill. Yes, River Park, and then put out the part of the rail trail and the cemetery.
Cemetery, yeah.
Request that for RFP, and that way you can see what can be done.
So each individual mower, that company that comes in, will give those details. Sometimes they'll say, I'll do this, but I don't want to do this and this.
Well, 2 years
That
ago,
will
we
come
had
in,
two
you'll
mowers.
You'll have that.
We had two mowers a couple of years ago.
Correct.
And one did,
For one.
so,
So that is already in the bid packages.
right. All right, so resolution?
Biggest thing,
Yeah, but it's,
careful where you get to do the cemetery. You have one guy in there.
Said reissue every
Yeah.
so many years
No
at the
stones
beginning of each free
No, I
season.
remember.
So we have years, we have to fix that.
Biannually? Biannually?
It's gonna be the, okay, so I'm motion to authorize the issuance of a request for proposal RFP for mowing for the 2025 season with an amendment that the second whereas it's gonna be reissued every year.
That should be every year.
Every year.
So we're just gonna amend that to every year.
And I would amend, for proposals for lawn mowing and trimming in 2025.
Oh, yeah, it's, in the first whereas.
Okay.
What's wrong with 2020?
It says 2022.
Do you want
Not my
to put the RFP out so that you do each individual segment of the mowing?
That's what,
It'll be,
John said
it's broken
it's
down.
already like that.
Is that-
Yeah.
So we're gonna correct that. It's 2025.
Okay, so, yeah, 2 amendments to this, I motion with the 2 amendments. All in favor?
Aye. Yes, 2025. And then okay, next one is, approve RFP for records inventory vendor. All right, there's a, you want to talk about this, then?
Briefly,
Okay.
town is applying for a grant to inventory all the records that the town has, including planning board, highway,
Town records,
town supervisor records,
everything.
not everything but the court. And we need to identify some key persons that, would win a grant that we can use and this might be how much we need to ask for. So, we've identified 1 or 2 persons that might be able to, respond to this, RFP and, see what's out there. Because we have a lot of records and they need to be properly inventoried, which includes their condition and their retention date. And in going through them, we can possibly remove and make more space. And that would be the first step. And the next step would be to perhaps digitize one of those records. But first we need to know what we have, where it is, what condition it's in, and can we throw it out? And and a grant would be helpful to do that and allow us.
That would be helpful.
It would be-
Digital.
Yeah, it was not, right, it'd be very helpful to get that, to help us get that done. And we need to identify some people to do the work and find out what it would cost so we know what to ask for.
I make a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, then, well, I mean,
I think, yeah, so I think Tony's got,
well, yes, it's you,
the work, Tony to
you work with Tony.
get work with that.
One thing also, the town of Shandaken, and town of Shandaken has gotten this grant, the
Right,
75, that's grant,
right.
and they inventoried everything, and now they're digitizing it with the second part of the grant. Once you get a 75,000 grant, inventory it,
Yeah.
and then you get a second grant, digitize it.
So very helpful to go see if you can reuse some of the wording in their grant instead of starting at
Oh,
scratch.
absolutely, absolutely. One of the biggest problems that I'm aware of is that the highway has files in the old building
They can,
that might be lost to history. All right.
okay,
Next
Next one.
Condition.
all right, next one is, authorized request side contract with Romo Wallens Gold and Minot LLP as a legal attorney. In the years past, we actually paid them, a stipend, a retainer of $1,200.
No, a month.
A month.
But now it's gonna be as needed, right?
Right, now it's as needed in a sense, and they gave us hourly. The reason being very simply is we rarely used them last year,
Okay.
and we gave them $1,200
a month.
a month.
Okay,
We're gonna need them though when we bond the garage. John Minot, part of the group there.
that would be part of that project.
Yeah,
Yeah. That would
So-
be part of this.
no, one
Have
question.
do you have a copy of this contract?
Yes, I do.
Does the contract stipulate what you just raised?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Could you please include that pursuant to the contract dated such and such from Romer Wallace? In the packet.
It's in, if you look at the,
In which packet?
no, not on the board, it's on the share drive.
And then we have two copies available on the table.
Yeah, so long as you include what you just stated, I think,
In the
Pursuant.
resolution?
in the resolution
So you wanna
pursuant to
amend
the
the resolution?
contract.
Well, it says an hourly rate of $3.25.
No,
So these- so-
all I need is a contract to be stated in here.
So
That,
pursuant to the professional service agreement, and then name this.
February 4th.
You can just write the professional services agreement attached here with.
Yes.
And then have that.
You want to take this?
it's all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lynn, you want a copy of this?
I have a copy.
All right,
Okay, so whose motion, you?
my motion
With amended, as amended, as.
as amended
With attachment.
with attachment, with attachment.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? All right, next one.
of course, I don't think I did on this one first.
Who is this? Oh, Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, where's this from?
Just so you guys have it. Yes, it's on top of page 6. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Page 6. And then I just have a
Oh,
question about it too.
That's just with the, statement of, tax rate
That's not it.
responsibility.
I have it on the shared drive. I put it on the shared drive. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
What is this? What are we talking about here?
Is this?
Yeah.
But I have a question. In part of this, you say professional service, legal service, and then it says not including special legal services.
Yeah,
Special legal services.
Specialized legal services.
What is, just give me an example. What does that mean?
So he just mentioned the bond.
Okay.
So you have the bonding attorney who assists with that. He hired, for the formation of the EMS district.
Yep. Okay.
There are certain specialized legal services which, if it's identified as such as a specialized legal services, that then I would advise that it would potentially be in the town's best interest to have an attorney who's focused on this to handle it as opposed to me.
Okay.
And if, and when something arises such as that, I would advise you guys
to
potentially to go with, specialized.
Okay.
Matt, have you had any delays in receiving your pay?
Not that I can recall.
No, and
Any delays is probably with the
That's fine. We don't care about that part.
but at least
I went back and looked and it's $5,000 a month is more than reasonable based on what we paid last year. It's, yes,
And
it's
what
more
it-
than reasonable.
Right, what it was for 11 months last year, we paid $60,000 to that. All right, it's 12 months a year, according to this contract, we're paying $60,000. So in other words, it's equivalent.
and I can tell you that based on the hours, even my bills last year, I almost all of them, unless they didn't equal 5,000, I tried to lower them down as much as reasonably possible to get to around the 5,000, somewhere closer to $10,000 based on the time.
I'll motion
So,
this resolution.
and this is something that might be initiated based on So that you wouldn't be as
He's not-
considerate about the
he's-
time you're spending.
He's still not allowed to ask you how you're doing, how you're. He thinks that he's gonna be able to do that now.
Well, my biggest fear was when we were talking to John Lyons, we get charged twice.
So all I need, this, again, I'll just stipulate that a copy of this thing be included in this resolution attached,
The attached contract.
yeah, with correction. So page.
The sum of the word guarantee. So I do not guarantee any results of my services. I will do my best, but I cannot
I don't guarantee the
that.
spelling of my contract.
Page is that on?
Page two, the bottom, the last,
Page two?
second to last line, guarantees, but
Slot machine. What's wrong with warranty?
I don't know that word. Maybe it's Russian.
Okay.
So that's good with that?
We did,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, all right.
motion to authorize supervisor to sign the contract as amended, as we just discussed amended.
I'll second.
I had one question before we do that, sorry. As of January 1st?
Ooh, actually, I'm just looking up and technically, because I know this.
It is
form
supposed to be that spelled
contract.
that way?
It can be spelled either way, although guarantee with two E's is a more common. So
This is old baby.
I was not.
You submitted a bill for January?
No,
I have not submitted a bill even for December yet, but I will be submitting my December bill, and I know.
Well, this says for calendar
maybe-
year 2025,
Yeah, he wanted me to have this
right?
retroactively,
Yes.
so that it will. cover-
Retroactive December 2020.
Yeah, so, now, now,
No,
This is for
January.
calendar year 2025.
yeah.
what's that?
Can you just include a clause that says attached?
Right.
Yes,
As amended.
Well, it's not amended.
Well,
so-
he's amended.
So who seconded?
Diana. Any more discussion?
Amended with attachment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving along.
RVT.
RBT. RBT. All right, RBT contract, this is our accountant, doing a lot of auditing and all that. And the thing is, with RBT here, they were charging us hourly rates. I was asking them if they can charge us a stipend every day as opposed to that, because they're quite expensive. And so, what we have been doing right now, we're going to do right now, is to do the monthly financials, and also the annual AFR. I'll do it. I spoke to Joe Montalvo about this thing. He says, let's go hourly right now to see exactly how much we're gonna do. Maybe hourly be cheaper than the 3,000. And if we get to post about the 3,000, then maybe we'll about at that point to go to that way. So we're gonna try. Now, the thing is, though, when I spoke to Joe Montalvo, is that shortly, maybe within 3 or 4 months, I will look to do the monthly financials. All right. It's the new program coming that she's doing right now, so she's being guided by RBT and how to use this program. So once she gets.
That's not QuickBooks or
It's
part of
QuickBooks now.
part of it?
Yeah, before it was Williamson.
Right, I knew
So
that.
then, yeah, so we were.
And I talked to an accountant last night, and they told me that they thought we were getting something else, that QuickBooks wasn't a good job.
It's, for the time being, it is good. I mean, we spoke to a couple of people, we didn't care for QuickBooks, but at this point right now,
It's better than what we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is gonna be like an influx on us. We're gonna see exactly how much it.
Do hourly now, so we
Do
know.
hourly now until we reach 3,000. And then, we can sit down, and vote. And this is that suggestion of Joe Montalvo. So I think that's
So you want to include
Yes.
tax document, yeah.
I make the motion.
Second.
This is, cash card.
This is on the attached contract.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next one is, this is yours, Matt. This is the financial disclosure form.
All right, so,
Could you bring that up?
Here's the resolution. And yeah, the form is attached. I can scroll through as you need.
Yeah, I want to actually see this. I did look at it.
Sure.
So basically, the reason came to my attention when I looked and saw what financial disclosure form is currently being used. It is not compliant with state law Article 18 of the Public Officer, or it's now General Municipal Law, has outlined what the minimum requirements are in financial disclosures. And this new form meets those minimum requirements. You can always have additional information requested, but you can't go below what's minimally required under the state law. What we have is a single page question that says, identify any conflicts you have, which does not even come close. So this resolution is to adopt this as the new form for the annual financial disclosure, so that it's compliant with state law.
Do we know when they changed that code? Because I swear when I first joined the ZBA, I forget which year that is, but it was something much more similar to what you put together.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same.
Oh, I've only done the one page.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I
I've never
don't
done
know
more than
when,
a
It's always been one page.
Yeah.
It's always been one page.
It's always been one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
Just
they changed it.
swear I signed something. How many? Oh, I bet I could find this.
And that, well, you can.
Does every employee need to fill it out?
Put on, like a spouse.
What was that?
Does every employee need to?
No, there's a list of employees under our local statute that,
It says deputies. And is it possible to,
So-
accept some people who are hourly employees?
it's basically whatever our local statute. So the state statute basically empowers us to create our local ethics code, so that these are submitted locally, as opposed to if we did not have a local ethics code, there are certain elected officials and appointed officials, anyone who basically has a power to make a decision, take action that affects the public. All would be required to take it. Under here, we list those specific individuals, we even add some additional individuals. Do you have our code?
Go remember only something I can pull up the code.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Bring that up here.
I can explain it.
Yeah, so there's a list under chapter 17-7. So everyone who is listed there, whose position is listed there, has to be filling out one of these. So it does have your deputies
It does.
listed as well.
At least one of them thought it was really intrusive.
Yeah.
But.
It's up on the screen.
And to my knowledge, there are no other positions, but basically the town board can by resolution additional positions. I'm not aware of any additional positions we might want, and I'm also not aware of us having a water sewer superintendent either.
So I can hire one. When I wrote this law, it turns out that I was planning on having a water district in West Early.
Okay.
And the water district was cheaper than.
Now, are you aware if there have ever been any resolutions passed to require any other positions to?
How knows what fellows did that.
Outside.
This was adopted, when was it, in 2006 or so?
This one. Looks like 2006, or amended in 2007.
Yeah, so that was, I adopted it and then we had to adjust it. So what do you think?
No, we kind of have to, don't we?
We have to say it.
Yeah,
This is the minimum, right?
this is
Not
the
like
bare
it's-
minimum. It has all the questions that are required under Article 18 of the General Municipal Law.
All right, so
So we're just adopting this as part of our.
Yes, so our code, the way our code is written, and this is how I'm interpreting it for you is, and what we can go to it if you want to go to the code. It's basically just says the contents of the annual shall contain the information to be in a form set forth in Appendix A, which is on file with the town offices. Okay, the requirements may be amended from time to time by the town board. So that would seem to imply that you wouldn't need to amend the local law, that the town board can just amend it by resolution. So there's a resolution amending the appendix, which is kept at the town.
Yeah, can you just go through that list slower?
You want to see the whole list? Sure. Yep. So I'll scroll slowly for him.
I don't understand, like, my mother gave me this, yeah, this has to do with town
And I'll
stuff,
get
right?
town zones, so let's
It's only for the town, it's not you personally.
It doesn't say anything about it to be in the town.
That's not out there.
Every supervisor.
And plus, I think any gift that I got from anybody, I have to put in.
excluding this.
Should you give some friends?
It's all more than $75. Obviously,
It has nothing, but it has nothing to do with the town whatsoever.
it shouldn't, but at the same time, they're trying to identify like a circumstance where, okay, let's say, me, I'm giving you, a $9,000 cash gift every year, and you're making sure that, there's.
So you're good. Not 10,000, so you're good.
But, so that's why they have that requirement, so there's not this quid pro quo going on between,
In other words,
that's why.
What they're doing basically is, in other words, if you find some hanky panky, you're doing more or less, like, whatever.
But every year, a convention comes to $9,000 freaking gift at Christmas, and every year you help approve,
Well, what's the
And
gift
laws
limit?
that I
Still
have.
$50, right?
75.
Oh, they must have raised it.
They do.
That doesn't mean you can give out more than that.
And you don't have to, it says nothing pertaining to relatives, nothing pertaining.
I'm not sure I understand. Where did this particular document come from?
So it's based on Article 18 of the General Municipal Law, which is that's the basis for which empowers a local municipality such as ours to create an ethics code and requires these annual financial affidavits, not only like, even if we didn't have an ethics code, you as an elected official are required by this to fill out these questions. You can require additional, let me just, you can try to pull up articles.
It was always the clerk would put it out in January, everybody
Yeah.
go out and get back.
Listen, you get it back by March 31st.
It's only 20.
So, and it's section 812 is what outline all of those requirements, every question that needs to be included.
In the disclosure?
Yes, the annual financial disclosures. Let me check this. 18. Do you want me to read?
Is there something in the law that says the ethics committee reviews it or nobody reviews it?
Well, our local law should say that the ethics committee should review those, but
So Matt,
they're generally submitted.
I mean, I think I need a little bit more time to consider this. I can't vote. But I can't vote on this.
Yeah.
Because this is, this is talking about spouse and, including family members and all kinds of things. There's a lot in this.
You say the ethics law, is that a compliance with the general municipal law?
Well, our financial affidavit form that we're using. So basically, it's section 812. Did I give you a copy or did I send?
Yeah, I didn't copy that.
But basically, it will outline exactly everything that is required by the state. And if you go to the county, if you go to anything and as elected officials, you guys should have been submitting these
You want?
no matter what.
I would, do you have a copy?
Here, I'm gonna email it to all of you and we'll put it on the calendar for next.
Yeah, the other thing that I would suggest, well, first of all, I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Oh,
That's the word I was looking for.
that we table this resolution on until we get further detailed understanding of its contents and. But that's my motion. I'm just checking. Thing that I would require, not as part of that motion, is that this document is the number of people who would have to sign this document suggests that we have to have each person some kind of training course to get this done properly, because this is not a trivial document.
And that.
Well, every employee of the county, I worked for the county for 15 years. Every employee is required by the county, has to fill as every employee is required by the city of Kingston. I've done ethics classes because there were issues with people who had questions about it. But if you actually read through, I think it definitely needs time to digest, and then we'll continue a conversation. But I'm sending you General Municipal Law, Article 18, specifically for all the questions that are required as the minimum is in Section 812. So you guys will need to, yeah.
You understand what I'm asking for? I'm requiring, because this document, this requires that the employees in the town are also required to file this.
Well, not all employees, only the ones that are listed in our ethics code.
What was the employees?
Can you put that back up there?
So I
What
can
is
go
it you
through
need to see the
ethics
code?
board members, supervisor and town board members, planning board members, zoning board of appeal members, board of assessment review members, town clerk and deputies, highway superintendent and deputies, assessor and deputies, building inspector and code enforcement inspector, council to town, planning board and zoning board of appeals, and special counsels, tax collector, chief, well, we don't have
Well, the only ones that
police, youth center.
didn't see that one.
What I'm saying, in order for us to do this properly, you can't just give this, because once we approve this resolution, this document goes to all those people that are in town.
That's right.
And what I would suggest is that before we could sign it, but definitely make sure that we have a pathway for people to get training to understand what they're doing.
We're gonna use.
Well, as long as they got good ethics, yes, the mirror, they can sit there and say in the mirror that they have no conflict.
And then also, where's that gonna be?
Kind of hard to watch.
Not everybody should have access to that.
It's gonna have to be the clerk's office.
It's
No,
gonna have to be under,
financial, there is, under our local statutes specifically lists where they have to be filed. But that information, the whole purpose of it is public information to identify, so people can foil that, but there's certain
Gotcha.
private information such as addresses and
Okay.
stuff like that, contact information that can be redacted. But the whole purpose of this is to disclose any potentials for conflicts of interest so that, there
was a motion to take.
Resign from the board. So the motion's table.
Motion to-
Resign.
Yeah, the motion to table the resolution.
No.
Well,
Table, yes.
But
No, we're not voting on it.
We're not voting.
Motion's table.
I can do it next.
We gotta vote.
We have to vote.
I need a second.
Yeah, who second?
Debbie
seconded?
seconded.
I second it.
Yeah.
Debbie seconded already. Now you have to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You okay with it?
311.
We need to have somebody else who's voting on our behalf.
Okay, all right. Next one is,
Official.
next one is established capital 32H fund. Resolution, you want to read it?
Yeah, this is just to take the money that we got, this is the tax money. the tax money, put it in a, capital fund. Right now, we budgeted the tax money, and then at the fund, and then it's in the general fund. And she collects, she got like each, cash flow each fund.
What's that, John?
What?
So that was a special tax that was brought in. We're gonna hold it until they're using.
No, no, in other words,
Do we-
we're gonna put it in there that it has to be used only for EMS.
We're in charge of that.
We are in charge of that, yes.
We're the special tax district.
That's it's gonna be paid to pay the contract. That's what we're gonna use to pay the contract.
In other words, that two hundred twenty-five.
I hear what you're saying. Okay.
The 225,000 is going directly to, the ambulance service.
Okay.
But the thing is, what's basically
Well,
what's
where,
happening.
where would you think it should go? Just
I don't think you need a
do
special,
district.
I don't think you need a H fund that. It's in your general fund.
What about if the county gives us some money out of their reserve?
We'll take it.
On the Senate. But what do we put it into?
Does the ambulance district have a?
Yeah, but here, the thing is though that,
No,
we are gonna be
we're
talking.
gonna contract with someone.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, we're gonna give them, not the whole thing all the time, like we did with the
Yeah,
library.
That's my point. So this year, I can see that happening, but in future years, you're gonna potentially give them that 250,000
In the
again.
very beginning, yes. And this, in other words,
It doesn't hurt to have the H fund. It doesn't hurt. It's not gonna.
well, just make sure that we keep it there and it's not moved and used for anything else, so it's not there.
So, John, would this have to be the equivalent of I mean, the capital fund is a designated fund, correct, right?
The resolution will dictate what comes in and out of that.
So this is, okay, so under this is a new fund, this is a new accounting line.
If we can do this for EMS.
But as a separate taxing entity, and it's used for operating expenses.
In future.
You can't pull that, you can't use operating expenses. for the H fund.
I don't know, I check into that further.
All right, well, then.
We can just put a parking there.
Yep, I'm just thinking of that, but just, you know,
Well, it's not, no, it's not operational, it's contract. Well,
He just makes me read it.
But in the meantime, you're gonna be paying for operational uses.
no, we're paying for the contract. They will then use it for operation, but we're paying the contract.
But my point then is you're gonna give them that money
Yes.
and then they're gonna do it. So why would you put it into an H fund?
Yeah.
put in a special checking account.
You can do a reserve, you can do.
Interest bearing checking.
I don't know if you wanna do it, but I understand what you wanna do in H fund in reference to other grants coming in. Then wouldn't that go into well, they should be setting up their own account based on they're not for profit.
Yeah, so why would
That
it?
money would go to them, not to us.
If they're getting,
No, they're
No,
giving
no.
it to the town.
Going to the town.
They're giving it to the town.
So they're gonna
They're
allocate
just
it.
like Marbletown or Olive, right? They're not gonna give it because you can contract with anybody. You can fill your contract today, contract with
Right.
somebody else tomorrow.
Right.
We're gonna give that contract.
So how did Marbletown and all of do?
This is
Yeah.
brand,
This is brand new.
this is brand new that we're getting money from the county. This never happened before.
That's true.
What the county is gonna stipulate.
But I don't know how Marbletown and
You
Olive.
might
are
wanna
gonna
talk
get
to
tax.
Yeah, we want that and see.
The board is the one that manages the tax district. This
specific-
isn't like,
Correct.
this isn't
It's
like
not
a
like
fire
normal,
district.
like a lighting district or
It's
water
like a
district.
sewer district.
Like a sewer
Like
Especially
lighting.
their story.
Yeah,
So what do we do with the lighting district?
stays in our general fund and we pay it out.
All right.
I'm questioning whether or not this is the right vehicle.
My
I
question
just want to make sure.
what you're saying is.
Same with your fire department.
No, it's not the same as fire department.
No, it's not the same as the fire
It's
department.
the same as the
It's
sewer
not.
district or water district, but not necessarily fire department.
No.
I mean, you can open up an H account, I just don't know if I would put fund in it.
What,
Well, if you do get
Grants.
money,
If we get money from
the
the county.
county or something, you want a place to put it.
Where's this money now?
Yeah, that's true.
Through the general fund.
Well, here's the thing, Greg, you're still gonna stay in the general fund no matter what.
No, I understand it's accountability.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
I just wanna make sure that this money is dedicated to the EMS. That it can't be pulled out from somewhere else.
Well,
Right, well, because we taxed, it was a tax line on the tax stuff. that money's gonna be
But
used
so
for
the light,
ambulance
so the lighting district. So you don't put the lighting district somewhere else.
Does it have gets its own account number or something now?
How do
You do that, what do you have to do? with the lighting district?
Table this.
I don't have a problem doing an H account, but I don't think we should be transferring funds into an H account for operational uses. That should be coming through general fund.
So table, motion on the table is table.
Yes, the money's already allocated. We can't use those.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't misleading.
No, it's understood, but I think this is. You need to get some
Okay.
clarification.
I'll speak to, RBT.
Yeah, and it is new territory that we're going to step on here, so there might be something else that we're not even aware of that potentially we should be. Yeah, putting this.
All in favor, there's a motion and a second on the table, table it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I'm ready to leave.
one last one. Adopt new building fee schedule.
Even the dog says.
The proposals on the screen.
Is proposed.
Yeah, the only thing that I asked Paul to do is where it says STR underneath the operating permit, I asked him to spell that out.
Right there.
Somebody, rather than pick on that on STR, but. So that's the only thing I asked him to update.
Any further discussion?
Please include the document, and the document to this resolution.
Yes.
That's the fees, it's right here. Yes.
That's amended. It's spelled out. So looking to update the Chappaqua Building Department fees, with amendments to attach the fees and then the SDR.
Thank you.
Oh, that's what it right now
Yep.
is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to close this meeting.
Second.
I'm sorry. Hold on, so you're right. All right. Make a motion to open public comment number 2.
Oh.
You guys want to talk? The one that's want to talk? I make a motion to close. Mike, you don't want to talk.
Yeah, I want meeting.
Make
I
a
want to
motion to open and close.
recommendation the meeting's held for 1 hour.
I make a motion to close public comment.
Make a motion to open and close the
You
public
did.
comment.
Yeah.
Well, nobody voted on it.
Yeah.
You just open and close.
I make.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion during this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.